anymore. She was 12 again. She was inside Elena's cottage. Her grandmother lay dying. Alpha Silas stood nearby, cleaning Elena's blood from his claws with one of her curtains. "You should have stayed quiet, old woman," Silas had said. "You should have kept your gift to yourself." Then his cold eyes had moved toward Kira. She had been curled into the corner, shaking. "What about the girl?" Margot had answered immediately. "Deaf and dumb since birth." Silas had looked at her. Margot continued. "She's completely useless. She can't even connect to the pack mind." For several agonizing seconds, Alpha Silas had stared at Kira, cold, calculating. Then he had nodded. "Keep her in the kitchens, keep her out of sight." And just like that, Elena had saved Kira even after death. Margot hadn't lied because she loved Kira. She had lied because Kira was the daughter of Silas's first mate, and Margot wanted her forgotten. By making Kira appear worthless, Margot had accidentally made her harmless in Silas's eyes. Kira had spent 7 years protecting that lie. A violent crash came from the dining hall. Kira snapped back to the present. "The Alpha King's advance guard is here," someone shouted from beyond the kitchen. "They're inspecting the territory tonight, not tomorrow." Panic surged through the pack bond. Kira felt it instantly. She had spent years building walls around her mind, disguising her connection to the invisible network linking Thornwood's wolves. But she could still feel them. Fear moved through the pack like fire. "Where's Alpha Silas?" "Find Luna Margot. Get that Omega brat out of sight. We can't have her wandering around when royalty is here." Footsteps thundered closer. Kira reacted. She slipped into the pantry and crouched behind several large supply crates. Through the narrow opening beside the door, she watched wolves rush along the corridor. The Alpha King had arrived early. Why? Unless he already knew something. Unless this visit was never meant to be a routine inspection. Kira's breathing quickened. She had to remain hidden. Darian Shadowweir was rumored to possess abilities that made most old gifts seem insignificant. Some said he could detect deception without effort. Some claimed he could force any wolf to obey merely by speaking. Others insisted he could stare into someone's eyes and tear the truth from them. If even half of those stories were true, Kira had a problem. What would happen if Darian looked directly at her? Would 7 years of practice be enough? The kitchen door crashed open. "Search every room." A man's deep voice carried through the kitchen. The Alpha King ordered a complete accounting of every member of this pack. No one is to be missed. Kira pressed herself deeper behind the crates. Heavy boots crossed the kitchen. Methodical, unhurried. Then a shadow appeared outside the pantry. A man stepped inside. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair, sharp features. The silver insignia on his uniform identified him as a member of the Royal Guard. His gaze swept across the pantry, then stopped. Directly on Kira. She stopped breathing. Kira stared back with the expression she had spent years perfecting. Blank, slightly unfocused, confused enough to appear harmless. The guard's suspicion faded into pity. He opened his mouth, apparently about to speak, then remembered what he had heard about her. His hands lifted. His sign language was terrible. "Come out." "King's orders." Kira blinked slowly. She tilted her head as though she barely understood. The guard sighed. He reached behind the crates and gently took her arm. Kira allowed herself to be pulled out. "Found someone hiding in the pantry," he called. Another guard entered. "An Omega?" "Looks like it. Probably frightened." The second guard studied Kira. "That's Margot's stepdaughter, the broken one." "I heard about her. Can't hear. Can't speak." The first guard looked toward the doorway. "Do we really need to bring her to the gathering?" The king said everyone. Kira was taken through the corridors. She maintained her submissive posture, letting the guards guide her as if she were confused by everything around her. The great hall was already packed. Every Thornwood wolf had been assembled. The guards placed Kira near the rear beside the other Omegas. At the front stood Luna Margot. Lydia was beside her. Her golden hair had been arranged perfectly. Her expensive dress made her look almost royal. When Lydia noticed Kira near the back, her lips curved into a small, cruel smile. Then the entire hall went silent. Not ordinary silence. A silence filled with instinctive fear. Kira's wolf became alert inside her. Danger. Every wolf in the room felt it. Alpha King Darien Shadowweir entered. Kira had heard descriptions of him. Handsome, powerful, young, terrifying. None of the descriptions had been enough. Darien moved with the confidence of a predator who had never needed to wonder whether anything in the room could threaten him. His presence seemed to consume the space around him. Then Kira saw his eyes. Silver, not pale gray. Silver, like moonlight reflected on a blade. His gaze moved across the assembled Thornwood wolves with calm, almost bored assessment. He was tall enough to make Alpha Silas seem diminished when they stood in the same room. And young, much younger than Kira had imagined. Whatever path had carried him to the throne, it had been fast, and probably bloody. When Darien spoke, his voice filled the hall without effort. Thornwood Pack. Every wolf listened. I have not come here for pleasantries. 3 months ago, during the Rogue Rebellion, intelligence reached me suggesting members of this pack provided assistance to my enemies. Fear moved through the crowd. I am here to identify the traitors. No one moved. Darien's gaze swept over them. I will speak with each of you individually. Then his voice hardened. And I will know when you lie. Kira's blood turned cold. My gift sees truth. There is no deception in this pack that can remain hidden from me. Her pulse began pounding. Number. If he questioned her, if those silver eyes truly saw through deception, we will begin with the Alpha family, Darien continued, looking toward Silas and Margot, then moved down through the hierarchy. His eyes traveled over the crowd once more, and stopped. On Kira. Her breath caught. Across the crowded hall, silver eyes locked onto brown. Something changed in Darien's expression, only for a moment. Recognition? Impossible. They had never met. Curiosity? Perhaps. Darien tilted his head. It was the subtle movement of a predator catching a scent that did not belong. Alpha Silas began speaking. Darien finally looked away. Kira drew a silent breath, but the relief never reached her. Something had happened in those few seconds. Something she didn't understand. For 7 years, no powerful wolf had looked at Kira long enough to wonder what she was hiding. Darien had needed only seconds, and Kira knew one thing with absolute certainty. The Alpha King had noticed her. Wolves like Darien Shadowweir did not stop hunting once something caught their attention. Chapter 2. The King's Scrutiny. The interrogations began at dawn. Kira had spent the night in the Omega Quarters, a cramped basement room shared by 6 low-ranking wolves. No one slept. Fear filled the room. They say he can smell guilt, Petra whispered. Petra was a young Omega who worked in Thornwood's stables. She was one of the few wolves who had ever shown Kira uncomplicated kindness. They say his eyes become black when he finds a traitor. Petra drew one finger across her throat. Another Omega spoke from the darkness. I heard he executed 30 wolves in Riverside Pack, made them stand in a line and killed them one at a time because they couldn't prove their loyalty. Kira lay on her narrow mattress, staring at the ceiling. Her thoughts refused to slow. 7 years. 7 years of perfecting one lie. And now a king who could supposedly see truth was sitting only a few floors above her. She considered running. She could leave before sunrise, slip through the forest, become rogue. But rogues rarely survived long inside the 5 territories, and Darien's patrols were already watching the borders for anyone attempting to flee his questioning. Running would make her look guilty. She had to remain. Maintain the illusion. Pray that whatever Darien's gift truly was, It could not penetrate 7 years of disciplined deception. The first summons came shortly after sunrise. A royal guard entered the Omega quarters. Petra Millstone. The king wants you in the interrogation room. Petra turned white. Her terrified eyes met Kira's. Kira wanted to reassure her, to say something, anything, but the silent shadow did not speak. Petra disappeared with the guard. She was gone for 2 hours. When she returned, she was shaking, but alive. He asked about the rebellion, Petra whispered as everyone crowded around her. He wanted to know if I'd seen suspicious wolves, messages, secret meetings, strangers near the territory. She swallowed. When he looked at me, it felt like he could see every thought I've ever had. Did you pass? Another Omega asked. Petra gave a brittle laugh. I'm standing here, aren't I? Her expression changed. But Sarah from the laundry didn't. Silence. They took her away in chains. Her brother joined the rogues. She had been passing information to him. Petra's voice dropped. The king knew before she admitted anything. One by one, wolves were summoned. Some returned. Some did not. Kira listened to the pack bond throughout the day. Fear, relief, panic, rumors. By midday, 12 wolves had been arrested. By sunset, 20. Still no one came for Kira. She worked in the kitchen, preparing food for the royal guards and doing everything possible to remain insignificant. Several times, the back of her neck prickled. Someone was watching her. Whenever she looked up, she saw nothing obvious. But Darian's presence had begun to feel like part of the pack house itself. Even when she couldn't see him, she sensed him. A storm somewhere beyond the horizon. Late that evening, Luna Margot entered the kitchen. Kira was scrubbing a large cooking pot. Her hands had become red and raw from hot water and harsh soap. She heard Margot approach. She pretended she didn't. A manicured hand closed around her shoulder and spun her around. Margot spoke slowly. The king wants to see you. Kira's heart stopped. She stared blankly. Margot's mouth tightened. She grabbed Kira's arm hard enough to leave bruises and dragged her from the kitchen. They crossed the corridors toward the Alpha's study, which Darian had converted into an interrogation room. Halfway there, Margot leaned closer. She stopped exaggerating her lips. She no longer bothered pretending Kira could understand. I have no idea why the king asked for you specifically, Margot hissed. But if you do anything to embarrass this family, anything at all, I will make the rest of your miserable life worse than it already is. Kira showed no reaction. Margot shoved her toward the study. Then knocked. Enter. Darian's voice came through the door. Deep, commanding, impossible to ignore. Margot opened it, pushed Kira inside, and left. The room was darker than Kira expected. Only one lamp burned on the desk. Behind it, framed by the dark window, sat the Alpha King. Darian lifted his head. His silver eyes found her instantly. Close the door. Kira remained still. If she were deaf, she would not have heard the order. Darian's eyes narrowed. Kira waited. He repeated the instruction with a gesture. She closed the door. Darian rose. He moved around the desk with unsettling grace. Up close, his presence was worse. Her wolf lowered itself instinctively inside her mind. He smelled like pine, cold air, and something wild. Danger. Something deeper answered from Kira's wolf. She crushed the reaction before she could understand it. You're Kira. It wasn't a question. Alpha Silas's stepdaughter, the one who can't hear or speak. Kira kept her gaze near his chin, avoiding direct eye contact. She nodded slowly, as though reading his lips. Look at me. The command struck her wolf. Not merely words. Authority. Her instincts demanded obedience. Kira slowly raised her eyes. Silver met brown. Darian stared. The room felt suddenly smaller. His expression shifted. Confusion. Suspicion. Interesting, he murmured. Then he moved. Behind her. Kira's pulse jumped. Now she could not see his mouth, could not pretend to read his lips. His voice came softly beside her left ear. Why is your heart racing? Kira didn't move. If she reacted, the lie ended. Darian waited, then crossed behind her. His voice came from the right. Why are you trembling? Fear. That could be explained. Any Omega standing alone with the Alpha King might tremble. Kira forced her breathing to remain even. Darian moved back into her line of sight. His gaze moved over her face. You can't hear me. Kira gave him a careful nod. You can't speak. Another nod. You can't connect with the pack mind. You are supposedly cut off from everything happening around you. Kira kept her expression unfocused. Darian's voice lowered. And yet when I entered the hall yesterday, you reacted. Her stomach tightened. Before I spoke, he moved closer. Before anyone could tell you who I was. Kira tilted her head, pretending confusion. Darian stopped directly in front of her. I'm going to tell you something, little Omega. His silver eyes held hers. A secret. Kira's heart hammered. My gift does more than identify lies. He leaned slightly closer. It sees truth, and the truth around you is complicated. Slowly, Darian lifted one hand. Kira had time to move away. She didn't. Moving would reveal that she understood what he was doing. One finger traced the line of her jaw. The touch was feather-light. Her wolf reacted violently. Kira forced herself still. You're hiding something. Darian's voice had become almost a whisper. Something significant. His finger left her skin. Something that makes you different from every wolf I've examined in this pack. Kira's thoughts raced. How much did he know? Darian stepped away. But here is what I don't understand. He folded his arms. If you were helping the rogues, I would know. Kira watched him. If you were afraid because you feared being exposed as a traitor, I would know that too. A faint line appeared between his brows. But that isn't what I see. He paused. I see fear. His gaze sharpened. Real fear. Bone-deep fear. Another step closer. But not fear of being caught. Fear of being seen. Kira's throat tightened. Darian straightened. His voice returned to its cold, royal tone. You will remain near me while I am in Thornwood. Kira's eyes widened before she could prevent it. You'll assist my guards with whatever they require. She shook her head quickly. She pointed toward herself. Then toward the kitchen. No. She belonged there. Darian watched her attempts at communication. That was not a request. His voice hardened. Report to Commander Thorne at dawn. You are dismissed. He returned to the desk. Conversation over. Kira curtsied clumsily, then escaped. She didn't stop until she reached the Omega quarters. The instant the door closed behind her, Kira pressed her back to the wall. Her entire body shook. He knew. Not everything, but something. Darian knew she was hiding a truth. And instead of exposing her, he had ordered her to remain close, where he could watch, study, test. Kira? Petra looked up from across the room. Are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost. Kira slid down the wall and wrapped her arms around her knees. She couldn't answer, couldn't explain. Darian Shadowweir had not merely become suspicious of her lie. He had turned discovering it into a personal challenge. The next morning arrived far too quickly. Kira reported to Commander Thorne. Thorne was a stern man with gray at his temples and the focused eyes of someone who rarely missed details. You're the deaf one. He said it without cruelty. Then remembered she supposedly couldn't hear him. He began signing. Badly. You'll help organize supplies. He motioned for her to follow. For the next 3 days, Kira worked under the eyes of the Royal Guard. She sorted weapons, counted inventory, cleaned blades, prepared meals, carried water. Simple work. Work that kept her visible. And always, somewhere nearby, Darian watched. Sometimes Kira would look up in the armory and find him standing in the doorway. Other times, she would cross the courtyard carrying buckets and sense those silver eyes tracking her. Once, she turned a corridor and nearly walked straight into him. He said nothing. He simply watched. On the fourth day, everything changed. Kira was inside a supply room organizing medical equipment when voices came from the adjoining chamber. The walls were thin. Commander Thorne spoke first. "Your Majesty, we identified another possible traitor." Darian answered. "Who?" "One of the Beta families. They may be sheltering a rogue sympathizer." "Name?" "Elena Thornbrook, the daughter." Kira stopped sorting bandages. She knew Elena. 17 years old, barely more than a girl. Her family had struggled since her father died during the wars. Thorne continued. "She has allegedly been giving information to rogue forces. Bring her in." Kira closed her eyes. Another arrest. Another destroyed family. Then Darian spoke again. "Wait." His tone had changed. "There's something wrong with this." Silence. "The evidence is circumstantial. Who made the accusation?" Thorne hesitated. "Luna Margot." Kira's attention sharpened. "She claims she personally saw Elena meeting rogues near the forest." Darian was quiet. Then he asked, "How many accusations has Luna Margot provided since my arrival?" 7, Your Majesty." "And how many of those accused belong to families that opposed Silas when he seized control of Thornwood?" A much longer silence. "All of them." Darian's answer was soft. "Interesting." The word made Kira's skin prickle. "So Luna Margot has been using my investigation to remove her husband's political enemies." Another pause. How convenient. Kira almost forgot to breathe. He had seen it. Darian hadn't blindly accepted Margot's accusations. He was questioning them. "Orders, Your Majesty?" Thorne asked. "Bring me Margot." Darian's voice hardened. "And bring Lydia as well." Kira remained motionless. Footsteps retreated from the neighboring room. Silence returned. She should have moved. Should have continued working. But one realization had rooted her in place. Darian wasn't merely hunting traitors. He was hunting corruption. Injustice. "You can come out now." Kira froze. Darian's voice had come from directly outside the supply room. "I know you're in there." Her blood turned cold. "And I know you heard every word." Slowly, Kira stepped into the corridor. Darian stood there alone, arms crossed, expression unreadable. "Deaf, are you?" His voice was quiet. "Then how did you know I was speaking to you?" Kira's thoughts collided. There was no explanation, no gesture to blame, no lips she could claim she had read. Darian stepped closer. "I'm going to ask you one question." Silver eyes pinned her in place. "And this time, I want the truth." Kira felt his power pushing against her mind. "Can you hear me right now?" Her wolf submitted before Kira could fight the command. 7 years of silence. 7 years of swallowing words. 7 years of pretending the world made no sound. Kira opened her mouth. "Yes." The word was weak, rough from disuse, barely louder than a breath. But it existed. Darian's expression barely moved. Triumph flashed through his eyes. "Good." His voice became very quiet. "Now we can finally have an honest conversation." He motioned toward another room. "After you, Kira." Then the command came. "It's time you told me everything." Chapter 3. The Truth Unravels. Darian led Kira into a small private sitting room. The moment she entered, memories hit her. The room had once belonged to Silas's first mate, Kira's mother. She hadn't been inside since childhood. She remembered sitting beside the fireplace while her mother brushed her hair, learning to read near those windows, listening to stories about old packs and forgotten gifts. That had been before illness supposedly took her mother, before Margot became Silas's new mate, before Thornwood changed. "Sit," Darian ordered. Kira remained standing. Her voice had betrayed one secret. That didn't mean she had surrendered everything. Darian lifted an eyebrow. Stubborn. He walked toward the window and turned his back to her. How long? Kira swallowed. Her throat felt strange after years of silence. 7 years. Darian turned. Why? To survive. Explain. Kira's hands curled into fists. Every instinct told her to stop speaking, but Darian's command still lingered against her mind. 7 years ago, Silas ordered a purge. She tested each word carefully. He killed wolves with unusual abilities, gifts that existed before the modern pack structure. Darian's expression remained still. My grandmother had one. What could she do? She sensed truth. Kira looked directly at him. She could hear dishonesty the way another person hears a wrong note in a song. Her gaze narrowed. Something like you. Darian gave the slightest acknowledgement. And you inherited it. Not exactly. Kira breathed slowly. My gift is broader. She had hidden this truth for so long that saying it aloud felt dangerous. I can sense emotions through the pack bond, even when I'm shielding myself from it. Sometimes I can hear thoughts if someone projects them strongly enough. She paused. And I know when someone is lying. Darian approached. So you pretended to be deaf and mute because Silas would have killed you. Yes. Smart. His mouth tilted. Perhaps cowardly. Kira's anger flared. You weren't here. Darian stopped. You didn't see what he did. Her voice strengthened. My grandmother died protecting me. She died so I would have this lie to hide behind. Kira lifted her chin. I won't apologize for surviving. I didn't ask you to. Darian moved closer. But I do have another question. His gaze sharpened. If you can sense lies, then you've known Margot was manipulating my investigation. Kira said nothing. Why didn't you expose her? Because I couldn't speak. Her answer was flat. Or I couldn't without exposing myself. And exposure meant death. Exactly. Darian's expression changed. Past tense. Kira's stomach tightened. Now I know. He studied her. So what prevents me from telling Silas that his supposedly broken stepdaughter has been deceiving him for 7 years? Fear stabbed through her. Darian continued. Or executing you myself for deliberately deceiving the Alpha King? Kira forced herself not to look away. Nothing. A pause. You could kill me here and no one would question you. Her voice steadied. I'm only an Omega. She gave a bitter smile. A broken one, as far as everyone else knows. Darian watched her. And yet you aren't begging. No. You aren't pleading for your life. No. You haven't offered me anything in exchange for silence. Kira held his gaze. Why? She answered without hesitation. Because begging won't change your decision. Darian's eyebrow shifted. If you've already decided to kill me, nothing I say matters. Her voice gained strength. And if you haven't decided, then whether I survive depends on whether I'm useful to you. Kira's chin rose. Not on how prettily I can grovel. Silence. Then Darian laughed. Short. Sharp. More surprised than amused. 7 years pretending to be helpless, and underneath it you have teeth. Kira said nothing. Darian returned to the window. You're right. His tone became thoughtful. I haven't decided what to do with you. He looked over his shoulder. But there's something else I want to understand. What? If you could feel Margot's lies and Silas's corruption, why stay? Kira stiffened. You're intelligent enough to disappear. You could have escaped into another territory years ago. She looked away. The answer was harder than admitting her gift. Because I was afraid. Darian waited. I was 12 when Elena died. Kira's voice dropped. The thought of being alone frightened me more than staying somewhere I could survive by being invisible. She paused. And Thornwood belonged to my mother. Emotion tightened her throat. Leaving felt like abandoning the last piece of her I still had. Darian remained silent. Kira continued. And part of me kept believing things might change. Her laugh was humorless. That someday Silas would answer for what he did. She looked at Darian. That someone would finally see what was happening here. Darian turned. Then perhaps you should be careful what you wish for. Kira's gaze sharpened. Because now someone does see. He crossed his arms. And that someone is me. Here's what happens next. Kira waited. You continue pretending. She blinked. What? To everyone else, nothing changes. Darian's voice became precise. You remain the silent shadow, deaf, mute, harmless, invisible. Then his silver gaze pinned her. But when we are alone, you speak. Kira stared at him. You tell me what you sense. Every lie? Every important one? Every secret? Everything that concerns this investigation. Darian stepped closer. You're going to become my secret weapon, Kira. In exchange, I keep your secret. Kira processed the offer. You want me to spy on my pack. I want you to help me uncover the corruption destroying it. Darian's face hardened. Margot's false accusations are only part of the problem. He tapped one finger against his chest. My gift identifies lies. Then he pointed toward Kira. But I cannot sense emotions across a pack bond. I cannot hear thoughts. His voice lowered. You can. You need me. The words left Kira before she could stop them. Darian's eyes narrowed. Yes. The admission surprised her. You possess something I don't. He stepped even closer. And right now I need it. Kira crossed her arms. And if I refuse? Darian's answer was calm. I tell Silas his broken stepdaughter has been lying to him for 7 years. Kira's jaw tightened. And we both know how Silas treats gifted wolves. It wasn't spoken like a threat. That somehow made it worse. Darian watched her. But you won't refuse. Very confident. You aren't actually a coward. Kira's expression changed. A coward would not have survived what you survived. Darian's eyes stayed on hers. A coward would not have looked me in the face moments ago and told the truth while believing I might execute her. Kira hated that he was right. What do you want to know? A sharp, predatory smile appeared. Everything. He paused. Start with Silas. Kira took a slow breath. What is he hiding? Darian asked. For the first time in 7 years, Kira deliberately lowered the walls around her gift. The Thornwood pack bond opened before her. Threads, connections, emotions. She searched. Found Silas. His presence felt dark and heavy. And beneath everything, fear. He's terrified. Darian reached for a notebook. Because he helped the rebellion? No. Kira concentrated. He didn't support the rogues. Then why? Money. She followed the emotion deeper. He's been stealing from Thornwood for years. Every trade agreement. Every collection. Every tax. Darian's expression darkened. He's been taking a percentage and hiding it. Where? Kira listened. A safe house in the neutral territory. 2 territories away. She frowned. He uses another name. What name? Gideon Thorne. Commander Thorne's name. Darian's face became dangerous. He used my commander's surname. He thought it was clever. Kira opened her eyes. If anyone followed the financial trail, the name might cause confusion. It won't. No. Kira looked at him. Not with you here. Darian began writing. What else? For the next hour, Kira talked. She told him which families Margot had deliberately targeted, which prisoners had likely been falsely accused, which Beta had been stealing weapons from the armory and selling them privately, which enforcer had accepted money to ignore border violations, which Gamma was involved in a secret affair with Silas's chief enforcer. Small lies. Large crimes. Hidden rivalries. Years of rot beneath Thornwood's respectable surface. Darian listened, asked questions, took notes. Slowly, a picture emerged. Thornwood wasn't simply disloyal. It was corrupted from its foundations. Finally, Darian closed the notebook halfway. Your stepmother. Kira looked up. What does Margot ultimately want? Kira hesitated. This truth felt more personal. She wants Lydia married into a stronger pack. Darian's mouth tightened. Stronger than Thornwood? Yes. Stronger than Silas? Yes. Kira swallowed. And since you arrived, Darian waited. She's been trying to attract your attention. His expression turned flat. By placing Lydia in my path every time I turn around. Kira almost smiled. You noticed. I would have to be blind not to. His lip curled. The girl is beautiful. Something uncomfortable moved in Kira's chest. Darian continued. But shallow, and her ambition smells desperate. The feeling vanished. He looked at Kira. Does Margot know about your gift? No. Nothing? She believes exactly what everyone believes. Kira's voice became cold. That I'm a burden she has to tolerate until I die or disappear. Good. Darian closed the notebook. Then she won't suspect you're working with me. Kira folded her arms. What now? Formal dinner tonight. Darian spoke like a commander preparing for battle. Thornwood's elite will all attend. I'll be serving. Exactly. He looked at her. And while you serve, you listen. How am I supposed to tell you anything? I can't exactly lean over and whisper while everyone is watching. Darian smiled slowly. You can write. He took a small piece of paper and pencil from the desk. Hide these. Kira accepted them. When you sense something important, write it down. Fold the note. He demonstrated with his fingers. Then when you refill my wine, leave it beside my plate. And you'll somehow collect it without anyone noticing? Darian looked mildly offended. I am capable of subtlety. Kira raised an eyebrow. This entire arrangement is dangerous. Yes. If Margot sees, she won't. Darian's tone was firm. You spent 7 years perfecting this role. He glanced over Kira's submissive clothing. Don't stop now. Darian moved toward the door. Then paused. One more thing. Kira looked at him. What? Something almost warm appeared in his silver eyes. Your grandmother would be proud. Kira went completely still. Darian continued. You're using the gift she died protecting to expose the wolves who killed her. His voice softened. There is something fitting about that. Emotion hit Kira with unexpected force. She looked away before he could see too much. Darian opened the door. His expression returned immediately to the cold mask of the Alpha King. Remember, he looked at her. Outside this room, you're still broken. Kira let her shoulders curl. Her expression emptied. Her eyes became unfocused. The transformation happened in seconds. Darian studied her. Impressive. Kira merely stared. Dismissed. She curtsied and left. Her thoughts were chaos. In less than a day, everything had reversed. She had gone from hiding her gift to using it, from prey to spy, from invisible to necessary, and perhaps most dangerous of all, Kira was beginning to trust Darian Shadowweir. The formal dinner began that evening. Thornwood's elite filled the great hall in their finest clothing. Silas sat at the head of the table. He laughed too loudly, smiled too often. Margot sat beside him, controlling every conversation. Lydia had been positioned directly across from Darian, close enough to be noticed, far enough away to appear modest. Kira moved between them like a ghost, refilling glasses, removing plates, cleaning spills, invisible to everyone except Darian. The Alpha King sat in the place of honor with an expression of polite boredom. But Kira noticed his eyes. He was tracking her. She opened herself carefully to the pack bond. Nervousness, ambition, fear, then guilt. Jonas Clearwater, one of Thornwood's betas, sat beside Darian. Kira focused. Thoughts broke through. The shipment. He must not find the shipment. Move it before the northern border is inspected. Kira reached Jonas's place and filled his glass. While Margot distracted everyone with a story, Kira slipped the pencil from her apron. Jonas Clearwater, smuggling through northern border. Shipment moving tonight. She folded the paper, then walked to Darian. As she poured his wine, the note fell beside his plate. Darian never looked down. His hand moved casually. The note disappeared. Kira continued. She sensed an enforcer hiding bribes. A young wolf terrified his secret relationship with someone from another pack would be discovered. A Gamma couple fighting privately about their daughter's arranged mating. Some secrets were personal, others criminal. Kira gave Darian only what mattered. By the time the final dishes were served, 7 notes had passed from her apron to Darian's hand. No one noticed. "Don't you agree, Your Majesty?" Margot's voice pulled Kira's attention back to the table. Darian looked at her. "Agree with what?" Margot smiled. "That a king of your stature deserves a proper mate." The room seemed colder. Someone of excellent breeding, grace, beauty. Darian's silver gaze sharpened. "Are you recommending someone, Luna Margot?" Margot's smile widened. "My daughter Lydia has been admired by many." Lydia lowered her eyes on cue. "She comes from excellent bloodlines. She understands pack politics and, as you can see, has been blessed with remarkable beauty." Kira sensed Lydia's excitement. Silas's approval. Margot's ambition. Darian? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. "I see," he said. Margot waited. Darian leaned back. "Tell me, Luna Margot, does Lydia possess any gifts?" Margot's smile faltered. "Gifts?" "The old abilities." Darian's gaze moved around the table. Something beyond physical beauty. Silence. Margot hesitated. "No." "Interesting." Darian looked toward Silas. "Surely a pack as prestigious as Thornwood has gifted wolves." Several people shifted. Silas answered too quickly. "Those abilities died out generations ago, Your Majesty. We're a modern pack. We don't..." "Don't?" Darian's voice was quiet. "Or don't allow." Silas went pale. "I'm not certain I understand." Darian's gaze turned cold. "I think you understand perfectly." He stood. Every wolf at the table immediately rose. "Thank you for dinner." His eyes swept over them. "It has been illuminating." Darian started toward the door, then stopped. His gaze moved to Kira. "You." Her heart stopped. The Omega. The room stirred. Darian approached. "What is your name?" Kira stared blankly. Margot spoke in irritation. "She cannot answer, Your Majesty." Darian looked toward her. "Cannot?" "She is deaf and mute." "Is she?" Kira forced herself not to react. Darian stopped in front of her. How unfortunate. His eyes held hers. To be surrounded by so much corruption and have no voice with which to expose it. Kira understood. He wasn't speaking about her supposed disability. He was condemning everyone in the room, while staring directly at the only wolf who knew the truth. "Good night." Darian turned and left. The royal guards followed. The instant the doors closed, nervous conversation erupted. What did he mean? Does he suspect something? We need to be careful. Kira slipped away. Her heart pounded. 7 notes. 7 secrets. Enough evidence to begin tearing apart Thornwood's leadership. Tomorrow, the real hunt would begin. Chapter 4. The Hunter Becomes the Hunted. Kira barely slept. Every note she had passed to Darian could destroy someone's life. But each one also represented a crack in the system that had protected Silas and Margot for years. Kira had made herself valuable to the most powerful wolf in the territories. That should have felt safer. Instead, it frightened her. Useful weapons were protected while they were needed. Afterward, they became liabilities. Sometime deep in the night, Boots moved through the corridors above the Omega quarters. Measured, organized. Royal guards. Then came shouting. Doors breaking. Screams. Petra sat upright. What's happening? Kira crossed to the narrow basement window. Torches moved through the courtyard. Royal guards dragged wolves from their homes. Jonas Clearwater came first. Chains bound his wrists. His face was white. Then came an enforcer Kira had identified. Then several others. He's arresting them, Petra whispered. Kira watched. Darian had deliberately moved in the middle of the night. He wasn't simply arresting criminals. He was sending Thornwood a message. No rank protected them. No secret was safe. By sunrise, 6 prominent wolves were gone. And everyone had the same question. Who had told the king? The pack house became a hive of fear. Wolves whispered in corners. Suspicion spread through the bond. How could he know? Someone talked. There's a spy. Commander Thorne found Kira in the kitchen. The king wants you. He gestured for her to follow. Kira walked beside him through increasingly hostile corridors. Eyes followed her. The other Omegas had noticed the royal guards using her for duties. Some had noticed her being summoned more than once. Attention was becoming dangerous. Thorne brought her to a private study. Darian stood near the window. Leave us. Thorne closed the door. Darian waited several seconds before speaking. 6 arrests. He turned. 3 confessions already. Satisfaction glinted in his eyes. By noon, I expect enough evidence to destroy the smuggling operation that has been using Thornwood's northern border for 2 years. Kira crossed her arms. The pack is terrified. Good. They're trying to identify whoever gave you the information. Fear makes guilty wolves careless. Darian approached. They'll reveal more while trying to protect themselves. Kira studied him. But that isn't why you summoned me. No. His expression changed. We have a problem. What? Margot. Of course. She cornered me this morning demanding an explanation for why I rejected Lydia's proposition. Kira's jaw tightened before she could stop it. What did you tell her? That I am not seeking a mate. Something almost amused appeared in his expression. She disliked the answer. I'm shocked. She has also started asking questions about you. The humor vanished. Kira went still. What questions? Why the supposedly deaf Omega has suddenly been assigned near my guard. Cold dread settled into her stomach. She suspects. Not yet. Darian took out one of Kira's folded notes. But she will if we continue as we are. He put the paper on the desk. You need to become invisible again. How? Darian's expression became calculating. By making a mistake. Kira frowned. This afternoon Margot is hosting tea for Thornwood's elite females. Yes. You're serving. Kira waited. Darian spoke calmly. You're going to spill hot tea on Lydia. Kira stared. You want me to do what? You heard me. Are you insane? A faint smile crossed Darian's face. No. Then. Strategic. He leaned against the desk. You've become too competent, too reliable, too close to me. Darian gestured toward her. That makes people notice. Kira understood. But if I suddenly prove I'm just a clumsy, frightened Omega, then they stop seeing a spy. They see someone useless again. Exactly. Kira hated how logical it was. She had spent years avoiding mistakes because mistakes brought punishment. Now that perfection itself had become suspicious. Margot will punish me. Yes. Darian didn't soften the truth. She may have you whipped. Kira's stomach turned. She may lock you in the cellar afterward. And you expect me to volunteer for that? I'm asking whether you can endure it. Kira thought about Elena. 17 murdered wolves. Families falsely accused. 7 years without a voice. Yes. Her answer was quiet. I can endure it. Darian walked to the desk and opened a drawer. He removed a small vial. Numbing agent. He held it toward her. Apply it to your back before the tea. Kira accepted it. It won't remove the pain completely, Darian said, but it will reduce it. Their fingers brushed. Something passed between them. A strange flash of recognition. Kira pulled her hand away. Why are you helping me? Darian's expression became unreadable. You could conduct your investigation without protecting me. She looked at the vial. I'm only an Omega. Darian's silver eyes held hers. You remind me of someone. Who? Someone who also had to hide what they were in order to survive. He didn't elaborate. Then he said, and you are not only anything. Kira looked up. You are the most honest wolf I've encountered in this entire damned pack. Kira almost laughed. I lied to everyone for 7 years. You lied about what you could do. Darian's voice softened. You never lied about who you were. The words unsettled her more than praise should have. Darian returned to business. Tea begins this afternoon. He looked at her. Make the accident convincing. The sunroom was bright and elegant. Margot sat at the center of the gathering like a queen. Lydia wore a pale blue dress and smiled whenever someone complimented her. Kira carried a heavy silver tea service between the guests. The numbing liquid tingled across her back beneath her dress, a reminder of what would follow. My husband was dragged from bed like a common criminal, one woman complained. Another answered cautiously. He was accused of smuggling. He is innocent. The first woman's voice became bitter. Someone is feeding the king lies. Kira poured tea without reacting. There's a traitor among us. Lydia spoke. I heard the Alpha King can read minds. Margot shook her head sharply. Nonsense. She looked around the room. He has informants. Her gaze briefly landed on Kira. Spies. Then Margot added, probably low-born wolves trying to improve their position by betraying their betters. Kira felt the warning. Margot was searching. Kira approached Lydia. This was the moment. She remembered every insult, every order, every time Margot or Lydia had treated her like something less than a person. Then Kira deliberately caught her foot. The tray tipped. Boiling tea poured across the table and straight into Lydia's lap. Lydia screamed. Her blue dress darkened immediately. Chaos exploded. You idiot! Margot jumped to her feet. Look what you've done. Kira fell to her knees. Her hands moved frantically. Her eyes widened. Her lips trembled. Perfect horror. Perfect guilt. Perfect accident. Inside, a darker part of her felt a flicker of satisfaction. Margot pulled Lydia upright. The girl sobbed. Her legs were red from the heat. She did it deliberately. One woman stared at Kira. The deaf girl? She looked at me first, Lydia cried. Another guest sounded doubtful. She can barely function. You think she planned sabotage? Margot's face twisted. I don't care if she is deaf, blind, and stupid. She pointed toward the guard. Take her to the punishment yard. Kira's stomach dropped. 20 lashes. The room became silent. Then 3 days in the cellar. Margot looked down at Kira. Perhaps that will teach her to be careful. The guard seized Kira's arm. He dragged her from the sunroom. As they entered the corridor, Kira saw someone standing at the far end. Darian. Their eyes met. He gave her the smallest nod. Then the guard pulled her outside. The punishment yard was already gathering spectators. Public punishment was tradition in Thornwood. Humiliation was part of the lesson. Kira's upper clothing was removed. Her wrists were bound to the post. Cold wind touched her exposed back. She pressed her cheek against the rough wood. The numbing medicine would help. She only needed to endure. The first lash struck. Pain exploded. Kira's entire body jerked. The medicine softened the edge. It did not stop the fire. The second came. Then the third. Kira bit the inside of her mouth. The silent shadow could not scream. By the 10th lash, blood ran down her back. By 15, her knees shook so violently the ropes were holding her upright. Still, she made no sound. The 20th lash landed. The enforcer stepped away. Someone in the crowd muttered, "Pathetic. She can't even cry properly." Her wrists were released. Kira collapsed. 2 guards dragged her upright. Through the haze, she saw wolves watching. Some pitied her. Some enjoyed it. Others looked away. And near the back of the crowd stood Darian, half concealed in shadow. His expression gave nothing away. The guards dragged Kira underground. Stone stairs, cold walls, a cell that smelled of damp earth and decay. The door slammed. The lock turned. Kira fell onto the floor. The numbing medicine had begun wearing off. Fire spread across every wound. Her wolf worked desperately to heal the torn skin. Kira curled against the cold stone. She had known the cost. This was part of the plan. And for the first time in 7 years, pain had not been inflicted because she was powerless. She had chosen the risk. 3 days passed. Stale bread, water, darkness, slow healing. Kira listened. The cellar was beneath the main pack house. Sound traveled through the stone. So did emotion. She learned more while imprisoned than Margot could have imagined. Darian arrested 6 more wolves. The northern smuggling network collapsed. Silas's stolen accounts were frozen. Royal investigators began examining every Thornwood financial record. Silas was losing control. Margot was becoming desperate. On the 3rd day, Kira heard familiar voices somewhere above. "We must do something," Margot said. "He's destroying everything we built," Silas answered. "He is the Alpha King. We can't simply attack him. We don't fight him directly." Margot's voice sharpened. "We undermine him." Silence. "We make him doubt himself. We make him appear weak." Silas said something too quiet for Kira to hear. Then Margot replied, "Everyone has a weakness. The king doesn't." "Everyone." Margot's voice turned cold. "Even gods bleed if you cut them in the right place." Kira pressed one hand against the stone. Margot continued, "We only need to find the right knife." Footsteps faded. Kira sat in darkness. Margot was planning something against Darian, and Kira was locked underground, unable to warn him. The cellar door finally opened. Light filled the stairwell. Not a guard. Darian himself stood in the doorway. His silver eyes found her immediately. "Out." Kira pushed herself upright. Her muscles were stiff. Her back burned. She climbed the steps. Darian did not touch her, but he remained close enough to catch her if she fell. They entered an empty corridor. "Your performance was effective," he said. Kira glared. "That's one way to describe it. The pack has stopped considering the Omegas as possible informants." Darian looked at her injured back. "They're too frightened of me now." His jaw tightened. "I'll send a healer." "No." Darian looked at her. "If I heal too quickly, people will notice. You're injured. My wolf will repair it." Kira forced herself straight. "I need to tell you something." Darian's attention sharpened. Kira repeated the conversation she had heard. Margot, Silas, finding his weakness, undermining him. Darian's face became darker with every sentence. "So they're planning another move." "Yes. But you don't know what." "Not yet." Kira swayed. Darian reacted instantly. One hand caught her arm. The touch was gentle. "You need rest. I need to return to the Omega quarters. You need food and proper treatment." Kira pulled away. The silent shadow does not receive personal medical care from the Alpha King. Darian's expression hardened. "The silent shadow just took 20 lashes because I asked her to. That doesn't mean appearances stopped mattering." Kira met his eyes. "Appearances always matter." Her voice softened. "That's how people like us survive." Darian studied her. "I'll keep listening," Kira said, "but you need to be careful. Margot is more dangerous than you think. A real smile appeared on his face. Not the royal mask. Not mockery. Something warmer. You know what I think? What? I think you are more dangerous than you think. Kira stared. Darian stepped away. Go rest. His expression returned to neutral. Tomorrow, we continue hunting. Kira left. She could feel his eyes following her, and for the first time, she wondered if Darian might be right. Perhaps the girl everyone dismissed as powerless had never truly been powerless at all. Chapter 5. The Queen's Gambit. When Kira returned to the Omega quarters, the other wolves stared. Her back was covered with crude bandages. Dark patches of blood had already seeped through them. She moved stiffly. Petra rushed forward. Kira! She helped her onto the narrow mattress. Are you all right? Kira nodded. No words. Even here, she couldn't risk breaking character. Walls had ears. Fear made people careless. 20 lashes for spilling tea, one Omega muttered. Margot has always been cruel, but that was excessive. Another wolf shook her head. And the Alpha King just watched. Kira closed her eyes. They didn't understand. They believed Darian had allowed an innocent Omega to be tortured. Kira could not tell them the punishment had been part of the deception. The next morning, she returned to work. Every movement hurt. Hauling water stretched the wounds. Scrubbing floors made her back burn. But pain sharpened her focus. And something inside the pack bond felt wrong. Not fear. There had been enough fear for days. This was anticipation. Excitement. Something new was coming. Kira was cleaning the main corridor when 2 beta wolves stopped nearby. The delegation arrives this afternoon. From Silverbrook? Yes. What do they want? Officially, an alliance. One beta laughed. Unofficially, Alpha Theron is bringing his daughter. Celeste? The beautiful one. Another female chasing the king. He's rejected everyone else. This one might be different. Why? Because Celeste Silverbrook is gifted. Kira's hand stopped. The wolf lowered his voice. They say she can manipulate emotion through the bond. Manipulate how? Make wolves adore her. A chill moved through Kira. Margot had spoken about finding Darian's weakness. Now a gifted woman capable of manipulating emotions was suddenly visiting Thornwood. Not coincidence. Kira left the floor unfinished. She used the servants' corridors and found Commander Thorne inspecting weapons inside the armory. Kira tugged his sleeve. He turned. What is it? She gestured toward the main hall, then herself, then repeated the sign for urgent. Thorne frowned. You need the king? Kira nodded hard. He is preparing for the Silverbrook delegation. She gestured again. Emergency? Kira nodded. Thorne sighed. Fine, come. He escorted her to Darian's temporary study. 2 royal advisors were inside. Darian looked up the moment Kira entered. Commander? The Omega insists it's urgent. Darian's gaze sharpened. Leave us. The advisors exchanged glances. Then everyone left. The instant the door shut, Kira spoke. Silverbrook is bringing Celeste. Darian looked unimpressed. I'm aware. She has a gift. I know. Kira stopped. You know? Yes. Then you understand this is a trap. Darian's expression became colder. It is a diplomatic visit. No. Kira approached, despite the pain in her back. Margot invited them. Darian waited. She wants to find your weakness. Celeste can manipulate emotions. I know what Celeste Silverbrook can do. Then why are you letting her come near you? Because her gift cannot breach my mental shields. Kira stared. Are you willing to gamble your kingdom on that? Darian's eyes hardened. This is what they're counting on. Kira's voice rose. Your certainty that no one can touch you. Silence. Then Darian smiled. Not kindly. You're accusing me of arrogance? Yes. You? His silver eyes flashed. The wolf who spent 7 years pretending to be broken rather than confronting her fear? Kira went still. That isn't fair, isn't it? He stepped closer. You hid because hiding felt safer than fighting. His words cut deeper than she expected. And now you assume I'll collapse because a beautiful woman smiles at me. I'm trying to protect you. I don't require protection from Celeste. Darian turned away. I've dealt with political seduction before. This is different. I will be polite. He continued as though she hadn't spoken. I'll maintain diplomatic relations and send her home exactly as I've sent every other ambitious family home. Kira's anger broke through. You aren't listening. Darian spun back. No. His voice filled the room. You are not listening. Kira's wolf lowered itself. I am the Alpha King. I fought wars. I crushed a rebellion. I rebuilt authority across 5 territories that were tearing themselves apart. His silver eyes burned. I am not an inexperienced pup who will surrender his judgment because a beautiful woman possesses a charming gift. He pointed toward the door. So unless you have actual intelligence, plans, names, evidence, stop wasting my time with paranoid speculation. Silence followed. Kira felt as though he had struck her. She had climbed from a sickbed to warn him, risked being seen, and Darian had reduced her concern to paranoia. Fine. Her voice was quiet. Darian's expression shifted. Kira, I'll leave you to your diplomacy. She turned. I'm sure everything will happen exactly as you expect. Kira. She opened the door. You explained my place very clearly, Your Majesty. She looked back once. I'm merely a paranoid Omega who doesn't understand pack politics. Then she left. Her back burned with every step. Pride. That was Darian's weakness. Not women. Not power. Pride. The Silverbrook delegation arrived near sunset. Kira watched from the shadows near the kitchen entrance. Alpha Theron came first. Broad, silver-haired, calculating. 20 warriors followed, 10 advisors, and in the center walked Celeste. Kira understood immediately why wolves talked about her. Celeste was breathtaking. Golden hair, sky-blue eyes, perfect posture. But her beauty wasn't the true danger. Something invisible radiated from her. A pull. Even from a distance, Kira felt a subtle voice pressing against her mind. Look at her. Admire her. Trust her. Kira slammed her mental barriers into place. The pressure faded. Her stomach tightened. If Celeste could produce that effect from across a courtyard without concentrating, what would happen when she focused directly on Darian? Margot entered the courtyard smiling warmly. Alpha Theron. Lady Celeste. Welcome to Thornwood. Theron bowed. The honor is ours. His voice was smooth. We've heard fascinating reports regarding the Alpha King's investigation. Silverbrook wished to demonstrate its support. Kira heard the unspoken truth. We want to know whether Darian survives politically. They moved inside. Kira used the servants' passages to reach the Great Hall. Darian waited at the center of the reception, controlled, regal, remote. Celeste approached and curtsied. Your Majesty. Her voice was warm. I've heard so much about your reforms. Darian's expression remained neutral. People say many things. Celeste smiled. Not all true, I assume. Very few entirely true. I would love to hear your plans directly. She tilted her head. Perhaps we could speak privately later. I have ideas regarding relations between Silverbrook and the Crown. Smooth. Perfectly reasonable. A flawless excuse to isolate him. Margot looked pleased. Darian hesitated. Barely a fraction of a second. But Kira noticed. Of course. Her stomach sank. Commander Thorne can arrange a meeting after dinner. Celeste's smile deepened. I look forward to it. Throughout the reception, Celeste moved from wolf to wolf. A touch on an arm. A laugh. Perfect eye contact. Every wolf she spoke with became brighter, more eager. more interested in pleasing her. Her gift wasn't force. It was suggestion, a whisper inside emotion. Kira watched Darian. Powerful or not, he was still a wolf. Dinner was elaborate. Celeste sat beside Darian. Kira served with the other Omegas. Celeste focused almost entirely on him. She asked intelligent questions. She listened attentively. She laughed when appropriate. She understood politics. She presented herself not merely as beautiful, but useful. And slowly, Kira saw Darian change. His posture relaxed. His responses grew longer. Then he smiled. A genuine smile. At Celeste, Kira's chest tightened. Through the pack bond she could feel Celeste working. Threads of attraction, admiration, comfort. Tiny emotional suggestions wrapping around Darian. He didn't appear to notice. Or perhaps he noticed and liked it. Perhaps Kira had misjudged him. Perhaps the king who had seemed impossible to manipulate was still only another powerful man susceptible to the right woman. More wine, Your Majesty? Celeste's voice was almost intimate. Thank you. Darian sounded warm. Kira's hand trembled as she filled another guest's glass. Celeste rested her fingers lightly on Darian's arm. It's refreshing to meet someone who understands leadership. Darian looked at her. So few people understand what carrying responsibility for thousands of wolves actually means, Celeste continued. It can be isolating, Darian admitted. Kira's attention sharpened. Power creates distance. His voice was thoughtful. They see the crown before they see the wolf wearing it. Celeste's expression softened. I understand. She lowered her voice. Everyone sees my gift and assumes I'm fortunate. Her smile became sad. They don't understand how lonely it is to wonder whether someone genuinely likes you or merely likes how you make them feel. Darian's face softened. That sounds difficult. It is. Celeste leaned slightly closer. But you understand loneliness too. Darian said nothing. You make decisions alone. Her fingers remained against his arm. You carry the kingdom alone. She smiled gently. You don't have to. Kira looked toward Margot. Triumph. There it was. Darian's weakness. Not lust. Loneliness. Something no sword or army could defend against. Celeste continued. A partner could share that burden. Darian watched her. Someone who sees you rather than your title. Kira's stomach twisted. Perhaps we should have our private meeting now, Celeste suggested. Darian nodded. Commander Thorne. Thorne appeared. Take us to the West Study. Kira watched them leave. Anger told her to let Darian suffer the consequences. She had warned him. He had mocked her. If Celeste manipulated him now, that was his problem. But Kira knew she couldn't walk away. Somewhere during the investigation, she had started caring about whether Darian succeeded, about whether Darian was safe. That frightened her more than Celeste's gift. Kira waited, then entered the servants' passages. The West Study had a hidden listening gap used by servants waiting for instructions. Kira pressed close to it. Celeste's voice came through. What you accomplished is remarkable, Darian answered. Necessary. Taking 5 fractured territories and uniting them required more than strength. Celeste sounded admiring. It required vision. They were destroying one another. Darian's voice was calm. Someone had to stop it. And that someone was you. A pause. May I ask something personal? You may ask. Do you ever regret taking the crown? Silence. You could have lived differently, Celeste continued. A mate, a family, peace. Darian did not answer immediately. Then, sometimes. Kira's chest tightened. Late at night, when the decisions become heavy, I wonder what ordinary life would feel like. You could never be ordinary, Darian. She used his name. Deliberately. But you could have balance. Celeste continued softly. Someone who understands power, responsibility, gifts. Darian's answer was dry. Someone like you? Someone like me. Celeste didn't hesitate. I won't pretend politics aren't involved. Mating alliances have existed since the earliest pacts. Her voice softened. But calculation doesn't prevent sincerity. You've known me for 3 hours. I'm asking you to consider possibilities. Celeste pressed. Consider what Silverbrook's loyalty could do for your kingdom. A pause. Consider not being alone. Kira moved closer to the gap. Her heart pounded. Then Darian spoke. You're very good. At what? Manipulation. Kira froze. Darian's voice changed completely. Making emotional pressure feel sincere. Silence. Making me want to believe you. Then, but there is one problem. Celeste said nothing. I can feel your gift. Relief hit Kira so hard she nearly made a sound. Darian continued. Every thread you've attempted to place around my emotions. His voice was almost amused. You're talented, then cold. But it doesn't work on me. Celeste began. I don't know what. Don't insult me. Darian's command cut through her. I know exactly what you are. Silence. And I know Luna Margot invited you here to compromise me. Another pause. Then Celeste laughed. Not nervously. Genuinely. Well, her tone changed. You're more perceptive than most. Kings who can't recognize manipulation tend to have short reigns. Fair. Kira heard movement. Celeste probably stood. For what it's worth, one thing I told you was true. Darian waited. You are lonely. His silence was answer enough. You isolate yourself. Celeste's voice sharpened. And eventually it will destroy you. I'll consider that. Will you? The warmth disappeared completely. Or will you continue pushing everyone away because vulnerability terrifies you? Darian's voice cooled. You are becoming presumptuous. Your Omega warned you about me. Kira's heart stopped. The deaf one. Silence. The one who isn't actually deaf. Kira stopped breathing. Be careful, Celeste. Oh, relax. Her voice held amusement. I've been reading this pack's emotions since I arrived. Then she said something that struck Kira harder than any lash. That girl's feelings about you are so loud I could sense them from the courtyard. Darian didn't answer. She isn't frightened of you. Celeste emphasized the next word. She is frightened for you. Kira closed her eyes. And you rejected genuine loyalty because accepting it would mean admitting you needed someone. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? The study door opened. Good luck with your investigation, Your Majesty. Celeste's footsteps moved away, then silence. Kira remained hidden. A few seconds passed. Kira. She froze. I know you're listening. How? The servants' passage. Darian sounded exhausted. Did you honestly believe I didn't know about it? Kira closed her eyes. Come out. She entered the study. Darian stood by the window. His back faced her. You were right. Kira said nothing. About Celeste. Then, about the trap. Darian turned. I'm sorry. Kira had never expected those words from him. Why? Darian watched her. Why did you dismiss me? For the first time, something unguarded appeared in his eyes. Because if I accepted your warning, I would have to accept that I needed your help. Kira stared. That I cannot do everything alone. His jaw tightened. And I have spent most of my life believing needing another wolf is weakness. Kira crossed her arms. How is that philosophy working? A small smile appeared. Poorly. He walked closer. Celeste was right about one thing. Darian sighed. I was afraid you'd say that. You isolate yourself. Kira stopped before him. And it will break you eventually. Your professional assessment as my spy. No. Her answer was immediate. My personal assessment as someone who spent 7 years isolating herself and nearly forgot who she was. Darian became serious. You can't do everything alone, Darian. The use of his first name changed the air between them. Not this investigation. Kira swallowed. Not the kingdom. His silver eyes held hers. And you're volunteering to help? Someone has to prevent you from walking into obvious traps. Despite herself, Kira almost smiled. Why not me? Even after I behaved like an arrogant bastard. Especially after. Darian's mouth twitched. Then his expression became serious. Why? What do you mean? What do you gain by doing this? Kira could have lied. Revenge, justice, politics. But they had promised truth. Because you see me. Darian went still. Not the silent shadow. Her voice softened. Not the broken Omega. She looked directly into his eyes. Me. Kira took another breath. And perhaps you need someone who sees you too. Darian's expression shifted. Not just the Alpha King. She echoed Celeste's words. The wolf beneath the crown. For several seconds neither spoke. Then Darian nodded. All right. He extended a hand. We do this together. Kira looked at it. No more secrets, he said. If you sense danger, you tell me. And if you're being an arrogant fool, you tell me. Kira smiled faintly. Deal. Deal. She took his hand. The moment their skin touched, something sparked between them. Connection. Recognition. Something neither understood. Darian released her first. He cleared his throat. Margot will be furious Celeste failed. She'll try again. Yes. Darian walked toward the door. Then tomorrow we finish this. He looked back. We tear out every corrupt foundation in Thornwood. His voice hardened. And we rebuild it correctly. Kira nodded. She turned to leave. Kira. She stopped. Thank you. She looked back. For warning me. Darian's voice softened. For caring. Kira's chest tightened. Don't make me regret it. Then she left. Because she had discovered something potentially more dangerous than Silas, Margot, or any traitor. She had started caring about the wolf hunting beside her. And that created a weakness no mental shield could fully protect. Chapter 6. Blood and Betrayal. Retaliation came at dawn. Kira woke to screams. She jumped from bed, ignoring the pain in her healing back. Petra sat up. What's happening? Kira was already moving. She entered the servants' passages and followed the chaos toward the courtyard. What she found stopped her cold. 3 bodies hung from the main gates. 3 servants. Kira recognized all of them. They had been friendly toward Darian's guards. Their throats had been cut. A message had been pinned to each body. Written in blood. Traitors die. The king's spies will fall. The pack stood in horrified silence. Darian was at the center of the courtyard. His face looked carved from stone. Silver eyes burned. Who did this? His voice carried across everyone. Who murdered these wolves? No answer. Kira opened herself to the bond. Horror. Fear. Shock. But beneath it, satisfaction. She searched. Found 4 emotional signatures. 2 enforcers. A beta. And Margot. The beta's thoughts came through strongly. For the Luna. For our pack. For the old ways. Kira's stomach turned. Margot hadn't held the knives. But she had ordered the murders. Commander Thorn. Darian's voice was deadly calm. Lock down Thornwood. Thorn stepped forward. No wolf enters or leaves until I identify who did this. Silas approached. Your Majesty, surely this could have been rogues. Darian slowly turned toward him. Don't. Silas stopped. Do not insult my intelligence. Darian gestured toward the bodies. These wolves died inside your walls. His voice rose. This was not an external attack. He turned toward the crowd. This was a message from someone who believes murder will frighten me away from my investigation. Silence. Let me clarify something. His voice became colder. I do not respond well to threats. Whoever ordered this has just signed their own death sentence. Fear rolled through the gathering. I will find you. Darian looked across every face. And when I do, you will wish you had shown these victims mercy. Commander Thorne dismissed the crowd. As Kira moved away with the Omegas, a hand lightly caught her arm. Darian. He leaned close. My study. 10 minutes. Use the hidden passage. Then he released her. Kira reached the study unseen. Darian stood at the window, staring toward the courtyard. I should have predicted this. He didn't turn. Margot's plan with Celeste failed. His jaw tightened. Of course she escalated. It was her. Darian faced Kira. You're certain? I felt it. Kira folded her arms. Pride. Satisfaction. She continued. The Beta and 2 enforcers were involved directly. Darian's face hardened. She ordered it. Yes. But I can't arrest her on that alone. Kira knew why. Our gifts aren't evidence. Not under pack law. Darian paced once. My truth sense says she's involved. Your gift says the same. Neither proves murder in a tribunal. So what do we do? Darian stopped. We make her expose herself. Kira stared. How? Give her what she wants. A victory? The appearance of one. Darian's eyes became calculating. Tonight I'll address Thornwood. He explained the plan. He would appear shaken by the murders, question his own methods, lift restrictions, suggest he had been too aggressive. And me? You'll stand where Margot can see you. Kira frowned. Afraid. I am afraid of her. Good. Darian didn't mock it. Use it. He came closer. Let Margot believe she broke you. And once she believes she's winning, she becomes arrogant. Darian's mouth hardened. Arrogant wolves make mistakes. Kira understood. I'm bait again. Yes. At least he admitted it. Darian studied her. I know what I'm asking. Thera thought about the 3 bodies outside. All right. Something like respect moved across Darian's face. You are braver than you think. Or more foolish. Possibly both. Then his expression changed. If this goes wrong, you run. Kira looked at him. I mean it. Darian's voice became firm. You do not stay to be heroic. You leave Thornwood and keep running. Understood. She lied. Both of them knew it. The Pack Council gathered that evening. Every Thornwood wolf was ordered into the hall. Kira stood near the rear with the Omegas. Margot watched her. Kira let her hands tremble. Let fear show. Darian entered. He looked different. Tense. Tired. Almost uncertain. Members of Thornwood. His voice lacked its usual hard edge. This morning 3 innocent wolves were murdered. Murmurs spread. They committed no crime other than performing their duties. Darian paused. I came here intending to remove corruption. He let doubt enter his voice. But I am beginning to question whether my methods have caused more harm than good. Kira felt the room shift. Confusion. Surprise. And from Margot. Triumph. Silas stood. Your Majesty, perhaps easing some restrictions would help the pack recover. Darian nodded slowly. Perhaps. Silas pressed. Some prisoners charged with lesser crimes could be released. I'll consider it. Margot's satisfaction strengthened. For now, Darian said, the lockdown is lifted. He looked around the hall. But further violence will not be tolerated. Then, almost pleading, whoever committed these murders should surrender and face justice voluntarily. Weakness. Exactly what Margot wanted to hear. The meeting ended. Kira started toward the kitchen. Kira. Margot. Kira turned. Margot approached with Lydia beside her. Her lips moved slowly. I hope you aren't planning any more accidents. Kira stared. After this morning, I think everyone understands what happens to servants who forget their place. Kira let herself tremble. Margot smiled. Good girl. She waved dismissively. Go clean the kitchens. Kira hurried away. The performance had worked. Now they waited. The next move came near midnight. Kira lay pretending to sleep when she sensed unusual movement through the bond. Several wolves. Focused. Secretive. She slipped into the servants' passages and followed. The emotions led beneath the house. A storage chamber. Kira peered through a narrow opening. Margot stood inside. 4 wolves surrounded her. The same emotional signatures Kira had felt after the murders. On the table, vials, dozens, filled with dark liquid. "Deliver them before dawn," Margot ordered. 1 vial into every major water supply used by the royal guards. Kira's blood chilled. By morning, half of them will be unable to stand. Poison. One wolf asked. "And the king?" Margot picked up another vial. "His receives something stronger. Enough to kill him?" "No." Her smile was cold. Death would invite too many questions. She turned the bottle. "Enough to weaken him." Another wolf asked what happened afterward. "Once Darien is vulnerable, Alpha Silas challenges his authority over Thornwood." Margot's eyes glittered. "The council is already frightened of the king's methods," she continued. "They will vote to remove his investigative power over this pack. And if the king refuses?" Margot smiled. "Then there will be a tragic attack." Kira stopped breathing. A rogue assault while he is weakened. Margot set the vial down. Either way, by tomorrow night, Darien Shadowweir's control over Thornwood ends. Kira had to warn him. She began backing away. A hand clamped over her mouth. Another arm wrapped around her waist. Kira was lifted from the floor. She had been so focused on Margot that she never sensed the guard stationed behind her. Margot appeared in the passage entrance. "Well," her smile widened. "Look what we caught." Kira was dragged into the storage room, thrown onto the floor. Margot stood above her. "I knew it." She crouched. "I knew you were too convenient." Her fingers gripped Kira's chin. "Always near the king." Margot's nails dug into her skin. "Always present when secrets disappear." Kira maintained the blank expression. Margot leaned closer. "You can hear me." Kira's heart stopped. "You always could." She said nothing. "Stop acting." Margot shook her. "I know." Kira's gaze remained empty. "How long have you been spying for him?" Silence. "How many secrets have you given him?" Kira refused to respond. Margot stood. "It no longer matters." She looked down. "By morning, you'll both be dead." The followers seized Kira. Rope bound her wrists, her ankles. A gag filled her mouth. They threw her into a corner. "Leave 1 guard," Margot ordered. "We finished distributing the poison." Everyone left except 1 young enforcer. Kira tested the ropes. Tight. Expert knots. She considered shifting. Her wolf could fight, but transformation would reopen the wounds across her back. She might collapse before getting 10 steps. Think. The guard's emotions reached her. Nervous. Guilty. Young. He didn't want murder. Good. Kira made a weak sound through the gag. The guard glanced over. She repeated it. Then shook violently. Her eyes rolled upward. The guard panicked. "Hey." He approached. "Don't choke." He bent down and pulled the gag from her mouth. Kira lunged. Her teeth closed around his hand. Hard. The guard screamed. Kira rolled. Her bound feet struck his knee. He collapsed. Kira scrambled toward the door. Her arms and legs were still tied. Movement became a painful crawl. The guard recovered. He caught her ankle. Kira kicked backward. Her heel hit his face. Blood sprayed from his nose. He released her. She dragged herself into the corridor. The stairs were ahead. If she could reach them. "Where do you think you're going?" "Margot." Kira stopped. Margot stood at the top of the stairwell. 1 poison vial remained in her hand. "I forgot something." She descended slowly. Imagine my surprise when I heard fighting. Margot crouched near Kira. "You know what?" Her expression became almost calm. I've changed my mind. Kira's heart pounded. I'm not waiting until morning to kill you. Margot drew a knife. Long, sharp. I'll cut you open here. The blade reflected torchlight. Then I'll tell everyone you attacked me. Margot smiled. That you were the spy. Another step. That you helped rogues. The knife rose. And why would the Alpha King believe a broken Omega over the Luna of Thornwood? Kira closed her eyes. Metal moved. Then Margot screamed. Kira's eyes flew open. Darian stood on the stairs. One hand twisted Margot's wrist behind her. The knife fell. Commander Thorne and royal guards flooded the corridor. Darian's silver eyes burned. You were saying? Margot's face went white. Something about me believing you instead of her? Arrest Luna Margot. The guards moved. Charges. Conspiracy to murder the crown, attempted poisoning of royal soldiers, and treason. Margot screamed. This is madness. Darian ignored her. Every conspirator was seized. Then he knelt beside Kira. Are you hurt? Kira shook her head weakly. Darian removed the gag. His fingers went to the ropes. When you failed to report after the council, I knew something was wrong. Kira stared. I placed guards on Margot after our meeting. You knew she would move. I hoped. Darian freed her hands. We followed her. His expression hardened. My guards heard the entire plan. Kira flexed her wrists. I got caught. You uncovered an assassination plot. Darian began untying her ankles, and made the conspirators discuss it where royal witnesses could hear. He looked at her. That is not failure. I was terrified. Bravery does not require an absence of terror. Their eyes met. You could have left when you discovered the poison. Darian's voice softened. But you stayed long enough to understand the plan. You would have done the same. Yes. A faint smile. But I'm the Alpha King. Taking suicidal risks is unfortunately part of my employment. His hand touched Kira's cheek. You were supposed to stay safe. Kira swallowed. I'm not just anything. Darian's smile became real. Warm. She recognized her own words reflected back from him. No. His thumb remained against her cheek. You definitely are not. For a moment, neither moved. Then Commander Thorne cleared his throat. Your Majesty. They separated. All conspirators secured. Darian stood. Take them to holding cells. He helped Kira up. We'll interrogate them formally in the morning. Kira tried standing. Can you walk? Yes. Good. Darian's expression darkened. We're not finished. Kira looked at him. Margot wasn't acting alone. Cold realization spread through her. Silas. Darian nodded. He should have been asleep in his chambers. He isn't. No. Darian's eyes turned predatory. We find him tonight. He offered Kira his hand. She took it. Together they went hunting. Silas was inside the old Alpha's office. Kira recognized the room instantly. It had barely been used since her mother died. Silas stood over the fireplace, burning papers, destroying evidence. Going somewhere? Darian's voice stopped him. Silas spun. Fear and fury twisted his face. You can't prove anything. Darian entered. Whatever Margot did, she acted alone. Did she? Darian's voice was almost pleasant. Because I currently have multiple prisoners willing to say otherwise. Silas backed away. They're lying. They also claim you stole money from this pack. Lies. That you murdered gifted wolves who threatened your authority. Silas's jaw clenched. Lies. That you planned my assassination. All lies. Darian stopped. Then we can resolve this easily. Silas's face changed. Darian's voice deepened. By the authority granted to me as Alpha King of the 5 territories, I challenge you, Silas Thornwood, to a trial by truth. Silas turned gray. Ancient law. Binding. A refusal implied guilt. I have rights. Pack law yields to royal law in treason. Darian's power filled the office. We begin simply. He looked into Silas's eyes. Did you order the purge of gifted wolves 7 years ago? The command pressed through the room. Silas fought it. His mouth opened. Yes. Kira stopped breathing. Did you murder Elena Thornwood? Yes. Her grandmother. Confirmed. Darian continued. Did you conspire with Margot to poison my guards and arrange my death? Silas's face contorted. Yes. Darian's voice became colder. How many wolves have you murdered to maintain power? Silas resisted. Then, 17. Darian's gaze sharpened. Anyone else? Silas stared at Kira. Including my first mate. The world stopped. Kira couldn't understand the words at first. Her mother. No. Her voice came out broken. Silas said nothing. You killed her? Kira took a step. You killed my mother? Silas looked at her without remorse. She discovered the missing money. Kira's vision blurred. She planned to expose me. He shrugged. I couldn't allow it. Rage consumed everything. 7 years under the roof of the wolf who murdered her mother. 7 years believing sickness had taken her. 7 years watching Silas breathe while Elena and her mother lay dead. Kira's wolf surged. She lunged. Darian's arm blocked her. No. Move. Kira. He killed them. I know. Her voice broke. My mother. My grandmother. Darian's tone remained gentle but absolute. And he will pay. Kira glared. Not with revenge. He turned toward Silas. With justice. Darian stood before him. Silas Thornwood. The room became silent. By royal authority, I strip you of title and rank. Silas stared. You are no longer Alpha. You are no longer recognized as a member of Thornwood or any pack beneath my crown. Darian's silver eyes burned. You are rogue, kinless, condemned. Silas backed toward the desk. And for treason, murder, crimes against the crown, and the deliberate slaughter of innocent wolves, Darian's voice became ice. The sentence is death. Silas attacked. Desperate. Fast. Darian moved faster. One hand caught Silas by the throat. The other drew a silver blade. Any final words? Silas spat. Go to hell. Darian's expression never changed. You first. The blade moved. Blood sprayed. Silas collapsed. Kira stared at the body. She expected satisfaction, relief, joy. Nothing came, only emptiness. Darian cleaned the blade and sheathed it. It's finished. Kira looked at Silas. Is it? Her voice sounded hollow. Or did we only cut off the head while leaving everything beneath it infected? Darian faced her. Then we keep digging. He stepped closer. We find every remaining piece. His tone hardened. And we remove it. Then softer. But not tonight. Kira looked up. You've bled enough. Darian's gaze moved toward her healing wounds. You've done enough. I don't know if I can sleep. Then I'll stay nearby. Kira's breath caught. You're not alone now. Darian looked directly at her. You are not the silent shadow hiding in the dark anymore. Kira swallowed. Then what am I? For once, Darian had no immediate answer. Finally, someone who matters. His voice became quieter. To Thornwood. Another pause. To this kingdom. Silver eyes held hers. To me. Kira's heart stopped. Commander Thorne appeared at the doorway. Your Majesty. The moment shattered. The pack has gathered. News about Silas is spreading. Darian nodded. They want answers. Then we give them answers. He looked at Kira. All of them. Kira thought about Elena, her mother. 7 years spent refusing to speak. Then she nodded. Together. Darian offered his hand. Kira took it. and they walked toward the hall. Chapter 7. The Voice That Roared. Every member of Thornwood Pack had crowded into the great hall. Fear, grief, confusion, and anger churned through the bond. Their Alpha was dead, their Luna imprisoned. Members of the leadership arrested. The foundation of everything they believed had collapsed within days. Kira stood on the raised platform beside Darien, visible, no longer hiding among Omegas. Her hands trembled. She forced herself upright. Darien wore formal black and silver. His presence steadied the room. Members of Thornwood Pack. His voice carried through the hall. Tonight your former Alpha and Luna were charged with treason, conspiracy to murder, and crimes against innocent wolves. Murmurs erupted. Silas Thornwood was sentenced and executed. Jock swept through them. Margot Thornwood remains imprisoned pending trial. A wolf shouted from the crowd. Silas protected us. Darien's eyes found him. For 7 years, Silas stole from you. The hall quieted. He murdered anyone who threatened his authority. Another voice protested. Lies. Darien became colder. Did Elena Thornwood feel protected when Silas murdered her because of her gift? Gasps. Did the other victims of his purge feel protected? Darien's gaze swept the room. Did his first mate feel protected when he murdered her to hide his theft? The hall erupted. Kira closed her eyes briefly. Her mother's murder still felt unreal. Commander Thorne stepped forward carrying documents. Confessions exist, Darien continued. Financial records exist. Witnesses exist. He gestured toward Thorne. Everything will be made available to the pack. Someone called. How did you discover it? Darien looked toward Kira. The moment had arrived. Because someone helped me. The room became quieter. Someone who has been watching this pack for 7 years. Darien's voice softened. Someone who heard what powerful wolves said when they believed no one important was listening. Every eye moved toward Kira. Kira. Her mouth went dry. Tell them. Fear returned. The instinct to hide was almost overwhelming. 7 years. Silence had saved her. But silence had also imprisoned her. Kira stepped forward. My name is Kira Thornwood. The sound of her voice stunned the hall. Whispers exploded. She can speak. What? Kira continued. Daughter of Alpha Nathan Thornwood and his true mate, Luna Sarah. Her voice strengthened. For 7 years I pretended to be deaf and mute. Chaos. Kira raised her voice. I am neither. The room slowly quieted. 7 years ago, my grandmother Elena was murdered during Silas's purge of gifted wolves. Kira looked across the faces that had ignored her. Before she died, she told me to hide my abilities. She swallowed. She knew Silas would kill me if he discovered them. Someone called. What abilities? Another voice shouted. What are you? Kira answered. I can sense emotion through our bond. Murmurs. I can sometimes hear thoughts when they're projected strongly. More reaction. And I can recognize truth and deception. Fear entered several faces. Kira didn't stop. I used those gifts to help the Alpha King expose the corruption inside Thornwood. Traitor! Lydia's scream cut through the hall. She stood near the front. Her face was twisted with grief and fury. You betrayed your own family. Kira looked at her. My family? A bitter laugh escaped. Your mother had me whipped. Lydia flinched. Your father murdered my mother and grandmother. Kira stepped toward the edge of the platform. You watched me be treated as less than a wolf for 7 years. Her voice hardened. I did not betray Thornwood. I saved it from the wolves destroying it. You're a liar, Lydia shouted. A freak. Her voice broke. You should have died in the purge. Enough. Darien's command cracked through the hall. Lydia went silent. Lady Lydia. His silver eyes turned dangerous. You will show Alpha Kira respect, or you will join your mother in the holding cells. Lydia stared at him, pale. Silent. Darian faced the pack. I understand that what you learned tonight is difficult. His voice softened without losing authority. But Kira Thornwood is not your enemy. He looked at her. She risked everything to bring justice to wolves who had no power to obtain it themselves. Darian turned back to the crowd. She could have escaped. She could have saved herself. But she stayed. His gaze swept across them. And I am grateful she did. An elder called out. What happens to Thornwood now? Silence. We have no alpha, another wolf asked. Will we be absorbed into another pack? No. Darian's answer was firm. Thornwood remains independent. Relief moved through the room. But you need leadership, the elder asked. Who? Darian slowly looked at Kira. Her stomach dropped. I nominate Kira Thornwood as interim alpha. The hall erupted. She's an Omega. Impossible. She has no right, other voices shouted back. Her father was alpha. She exposed Silas. She saved us. Kira stared at Darian. What are you doing? She hissed under her breath. Giving you an opportunity you earned. I can't lead this pack. Yes. Darian's silver eyes held hers. You can. I have no experience. You have been surviving its politics from the lowest rank for 7 years. That isn't leadership. You led from the shadows. Darian's voice softened. Now step into the light. Commander Thorn approached. If I may, Your Majesty. Darian nodded. Ancient pack law allows leadership during crisis to pass to any wolf of alpha blood who proves worth through deed and sacrifice. Thorn gestured toward Kira. Lady Kira is the daughter of an alpha. Murmurs spread. And no one here can deny what she risked. An elder protested. A female alpha? Darian's head turned. Are you suggesting females cannot lead? The elder faltered. Darian's voice sharpened. Female alphas existed long before many modern customs corrupted pack law. He smiled without warmth. I also know several powerful female alphas in other territories. The elder immediately fell silent. Someone shouted, Vote. Another repeated it. Let the pack choose. Darian nodded. Very well. He faced the hall. All in favor of Kira Thornwood serving as interim alpha until formal elections can be held. Raise your hand. Silence. Kira could hear her own heartbeat. Then one hand rose. Petra. Kira stared. Another Omega raised hers. Then another. Young wolves followed. Families hurt by Silas. Wolves who wanted change. Hands continued rising. Not all, but enough. More than enough. Commander Thorn counted. Nearly 2/3. Darian stepped forward. The decision is made. His voice became ceremonial. By pack law and the will of Thornwood, Kira Thornwood is recognized as interim alpha. Kira felt dizzy. Darian turned toward her. Kneel. Her legs obeyed before her thoughts caught up. Kira knelt. Darian drew the same blade that had ended Silas's life. He held it flat. Do you swear to lead Thornwood with honor? Kira looked up. To place the welfare of the pack above personal gain? Yes. To protect innocent wolves and uphold justice? I do. Darian touched the blade to one shoulder. Do you swear loyalty to the crown and the laws binding the 5 territories? I do. The blade touched her other shoulder. Then by the authority vested in me as Alpha King. His voice filled the hall. I recognize you as Alpha Kira Thornwood, leader of this pack, guardian of these lands. Darian lowered the blade. Rise, Alpha. Kira stood. Her legs shook. The Omega everyone considered broken had become Thornwood's leader. She could barely process the reversal. The gathering afterward wasn't exactly a celebration. Too much blood. Too many revelations. But relief moved through many wolves. Some congratulated Kira. Others watched cautiously. A few radiated resentment. Lydia most of all. Leadership would not magically repair Thornwood. Kira knew that. She would have to earn trust every day. Commander Thorne approached. Alpha Kira. The title felt strange. The king requests you in the study. Kira followed him. Darian was pouring 2 glasses of wine. Congratulations. He offered one. Kira accepted it but didn't drink. How does it feel? Terrifying. Darian waited. Surreal. She looked at the glass. Overwhelming. That sounds about right. Why did you do it? Kira faced him. You could have appointed someone experienced. Yes. Someone politically connected. Yes. Instead, you chose me. Darian's expression became serious. I chose the wolf I trust. Kira said nothing. The wolf who proved loyalty to truth before loyalty to rank. He stepped closer. The wolf who possessed a gift that could have been used for selfish advantage, and instead used it to protect others. Kira narrowed her eyes. Or you chose someone indebted to you. Darian smiled faintly. Good. What? Keep that suspicion. He walked toward the window. Never lose it. Then he looked back. But you're wrong. His expression softened. I have no interest in controlling Thornwood. I want it stable, independent, peaceful. And I believe you are its best chance. Kira looked down. What if I fail? Then you fail. She blinked. Darian shrugged. And we find another solution. His honesty almost made her laugh. But I don't believe you will. Why? You survived 7 years under Silas. Darian's eyes warmed. A pack council should be easier. Kira was quiet. Then she asked the question that had been waiting between them. What happens to us? Darian stopped. The silence changed. That depends. On what? I leave Thornwood soon. Kira's chest tightened. There are other territories to inspect. Of course. You stay here. Yes. Rebuild. Yes. Darian looked at her. We will be separated. Kira forced herself to nod. Unless. Her eyes lifted. Unless what? Darian approached. Unless we create another arrangement. What kind? A formal alliance between Thornwood and the Crown. Kira listened. You serve as one of my advisors. Remotely? Mostly. His voice lowered. We continue working together. Darian stopped in front of her. And we don't simply say goodbye and pretend none of this happened. Kira's heart pounded. You want me as an advisor. Darian looked directly into her eyes. I want you as several things. Her breathing changed. An advisor. He stepped closer. An ally. Another pause. A friend. Silver flickered in his eyes. More, if you're willing. The air between them became charged. I'm Alpha now. Kira's voice was quiet. I have responsibilities. I am not asking you to abandon them. Then what are you asking? Darian struggled with the answer. For you not to assume duty requires giving up. He stopped. This. Kira looked at him. What is this? Trust. Only trust? Darian stared. No. They were close now. Close enough for Kira to feel his warmth. Close enough that kissing him required only courage. A knock sounded. They both froze. Your Majesty, Commander Thorne. Urgent message from the Eastern Territory. Darian closed his eyes briefly. Enter. Thorne handed him a sealed letter. Darian read. His expression darkened. What happened? Kira asked. Trouble in the East. He folded the message. Possible rebellion. When do you leave? Tonight. Kira's heart sank. Not in 3 days? No. Darian looked frustrated. I'm sorry. Kira straightened. You have a kingdom. And you have a pack. He headed toward the door. Then stopped. Kira. Yes? What I said. He looked at her. About wanting more. Silence. I meant it. Kira's breath caught. When the crises stop long enough for us to breathe. A faint smile. We will finish this conversation. Will we? Yes. His certainty filled the room. Because I am not losing you, now that I found you. Then he was gone. Darian's guard departed at dawn. Kira stood in the courtyard. He mounted his horse. Across the crowd, their eyes met. No words, but she understood his look. This isn't finished. Then Darian rode away. Kira turned toward Thornwood, her Thornwood. An elder approached. Alpha Kira, we need to discuss the financial situation. This afternoon, the elder frowned. But, first I meet the Omegas. He blinked. The Omegas? Yes. Kira's voice hardened. They have been treated as disposable for too long. She met his gaze. That changes today. The elder studied her, then bowed. Yes, Alpha. Kira gathered all 12 Omegas. They sat nervously in a small meeting room. I know what you're wondering. Kira stood before them. Whether anything truly changes because Thornwood has a different Alpha. No one spoke. I cannot promise perfection. Kira's tone softened. I will make mistakes. She looked at each wolf. But I promise something Silas never gave you. You will be heard. Petra's eyes filled. You will be valued. Kira continued. Your lives matter exactly as much as the lives of betas, gammas, and every other wolf in Thornwood. Thank you, Alpha, Petra whispered. Kira smiled. Don't thank me yet. A few nervous laughs. Thank me when I've proven it. Then Kira surprised them. I need your help. They stared. You know Thornwood from places the elite never see. Kira gestured around the room. You know where food disappears. Where servants are abused. Where rules fail. I want honest reports. An older Omega blinked. You want our advice? I want advice from members of my pack. Kira smiled. Yes. The meeting lasted 2 hours. At first they hesitated. Then the stories came. Problems Kira knew. Problems she had never noticed. Suggestions. Warnings. Ideas. It was only a beginning, but beginnings mattered. The rest of the day disappeared into meetings. Finances. Victims' families. Elders. Security. By night, Kira was exhausted. She sat alone inside the office that had belonged to Silas. Now hers. A mountain of paperwork waited. A knock sounded. Petra entered carrying food. I thought you forgot dinner. Probably. Petra set down the tray. Thank you. Of course, Alpha. Kira. Petra looked confused. When we're alone. Kira smiled tiredly. It's just Kira. Petra shook her head. I can't. Why? Because you're not one of us anymore. The word stung. Petra immediately clarified. I don't mean you're better. She looked at Kira. You're our leader. That means something. Kira sank back. Do you actually think I can do this? Petra didn't hesitate. Yes. Why? Because everyone before you thought leadership meant domination. Petra moved toward the door. They wanted an alpha who could frighten everyone. What do I have? Understanding. Kira stared. You know what it feels like to have no power. Petra's voice softened. To eat last. To be ignored. To survive while other wolves feast. She smiled. That makes you dangerous to anyone who abuses power. Then she added, and valuable to everyone they abused. Petra left. Kira remained alone. 7 years of silence. 7 years of pain. Perhaps those years had not only taught her how to survive, perhaps they had taught her how to lead. Somewhere in the Eastern Territory, Darian was fighting his own battle. He had promised to return. Until then, Kira would build. The silent shadow had finally found a voice. Now she had to learn how to use it. Chapter 8. The Price of Power. 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks of budgets. Arguments. Disputes. Repairs. Meetings that seemed endless. 3 weeks of wolves testing whether Kira truly had the strength to lead. 3 weeks of proving again and again that she was not an Omega playing at authority. And 3 weeks without a single word from Darien. Kira told herself she didn't care. She was busy. He was a king. The Eastern crisis was probably worse than expected. Whatever had existed between them had formed during danger. Perhaps it meant less once Darien returned to ordinary royal life. Kira knew she was lying to herself. Alpha Kira. Commander Thorne entered her office. Darien had left him temporarily in Thornwood to support the transition. We have a problem. Kira closed the report in front of her. What? Lydia. Of course. She's holding secret meetings. Kira's stomach tightened. With whom? Wolves unhappy with your leadership. How many? 20. Thorne considered. Possibly 30. Who? Mostly young wolves from families who benefited under Silas. He moved toward the window. They call themselves Thornwood traditionalists. Kira almost laughed. What exactly are they preserving? Hierarchy. Meaning? Strong alpha authority. Thorne turned. Clear rank separation. He hesitated. And no Omega sympathizers ruling the pack. They want me removed. Yes. Kira stood. Outside the window, Thornwood looked peaceful. But 30 organized wolves could destabilize everything. What would you do? Arrest the leaders. Thorne answered immediately. Make an example. Of people for meeting? Of wolves organizing against their alpha. Kira frowned. That's what Silas would have done. That is also what Darien might do. Darien does not have to convince Thornwood he isn't another Silas. Kira crossed her arms. If I imprison wolves simply because they criticize me, then I prove every accusation they make. And doing nothing makes you appear weak. Kira hated that he was right. I'll talk to Lydia. Thorne stared. Personally, that's dangerous. She's my sister. She hates you. Also true. It could be a trap. Then I walk into it knowing that. Thorne studied her. I will not lead through fear. Kira's voice became firm. If that makes me weaker than the type of alpha you expected, so be it. For several seconds, Thorne said nothing. Then he smiled. What? The king chose well. Kira rolled her eyes. I'm nothing like Darien. You are almost exactly like him. That may be the most insulting thing anyone has said to me all week. Stubborn. Thorne counted on his fingers. Idealistic. Another. Frequently willing to risk your own life for principles. Kira sighed. I'll arrange the meeting. Thorne headed toward the door. But I'm attending. You'll remain back. Non-negotiable. Fine. The meeting happened at sunset near the boundary of Thornwood territory. Neutral ground. Lydia arrived with 5 supporters. Kira brought only Thorne. Lydia looked different after 3 weeks. Thinner. Harder. The polished princess had disappeared. Well, she smiled bitterly. Alpha Kira. Kira stopped several paces away. Did you come to threaten us? No. To arrest us? No. Lydia laughed. Then why? To listen. That clearly surprised her. I heard you're organizing wolves who oppose my leadership. Kira kept her tone calm. I want to know why. Lydia's laugh became cruel. You want to understand? She stepped closer. Fine. Her eyes burned. You destroyed my family. Kira said nothing. My father is dead. Lydia continued. My mother is imprisoned. You took my home, status, and future. She looked Kira up and down. And then you let the Alpha King place you on a throne you didn't earn. Kira remained still. We all know how you earned it. Thorne's posture changed. Kira lifted a hand, stopping him. Lydia smiled. You seduced Darien Shadowweir. The accusation landed hard. You were useful. Her supporters murmured. You got close. And he rewarded you. I didn't seduce anyone. Kira's voice remained controlled. Your father murdered innocent wolves. Lydia's face hardened. Your mother tried to poison royal soldiers and arrange the king's murder. They protected Thornwood. They terrorized it. They were strong. Lydia's voice rose. They made us prosperous. They stole from us. They kept us safe. They murdered anyone who challenged them. Lydia stepped closer. That is survival. No. Kira's voice went cold. That is tyranny. The strong lead. Lydia's eyes blazed. The weak follow. That's the natural order. She gestured toward Kira. You destroyed it. You've elevated Omegas. You let servants question their betters. You are making Thornwood weak. No. Kira moved forward. I'm making Thornwood honest. Lydia sneered. And that terrifies you, Kira continued. Because in an honest system, beauty and family connections do not make you important. Lydia flushed. You have to prove your worth. You have no right. I am your alpha. Kira's voice snapped through the clearing. Lydia stopped. And this is your choice. Kira spoke carefully. You may oppose my decisions. You may argue at council. You may try to persuade other wolves. But you will not organize violence or destabilize Thornwood. Lydia laughed. Is that a threat? A boundary? Kira looked at her sister. I don't want you as an enemy. She meant it. But I will not allow your anger to destroy this pack. You destroyed my family. Kira's expression changed. Your father murdered 17 wolves. Her voice became quiet, including my grandmother. Lydia looked away. He murdered my mother. Silence. So do not lecture me about losing family. Kira's voice hardened. You still have your life. She stepped closer. That is more mercy than Silas gave any of his victims. One of Lydia's supporters shifted. My cousin died in the purge. Lydia spun. Shut up. The wolf looked away. Lydia faced Kira. You want honesty? Yes. You aren't a real alpha. Kira's expression remained calm. You're a pretender. Lydia pointed at her. When the Alpha King gets bored with you, when he stops protecting you, we'll be here. Her smile became vicious. And we'll take back what belongs to us. A male voice came from the trees. Then you may be waiting a very long time. Everyone turned. Darian walked into the clearing. Travel-worn. Tired. Still unmistakably powerful. Kira's heart stumbled. Darian. He gave her a slight smile. Apologies for the dramatic entrance. Then his eyes moved to Lydia. But I heard something about abandoning Alpha Kira. Lydia went white. Darian approached. Allow me to remove any uncertainty. His voice became deadly calm. Kira holds her position because she earned it. He stopped beside her. Through courage, through judgment, and through my complete confidence in her leadership. Any challenge to her lawful authority is a challenge to the crown. He looked across Lydia's supporters. And I take challenges very seriously. The message was unmistakable. Kira was protected. Darian's tone shifted. You have the right to question reforms. Some wolves looked surprised. You have the right to dislike changes. He continued. You may present grievances publicly at Pack Council. Darian's eyes hardened. But secret organizing intended to undermine lawful leadership crosses into sedition. We haven't done anything illegal, one wolf protested. Not yet. Darian nodded. But you're moving toward it. He pointed toward Thornwood. Attend the next council meeting. Speak. Make your arguments. Alpha Kira will listen. Kira glanced at him. If afterward you cannot live beneath her leadership, you are free to petition another pack for membership. Darian's voice became cold again. But you will not remain here poisoning Thornwood from within. Lydia lifted her chin. And if we refuse? Darian smiled. Then I arrest all of you for conspiracy against crown-recognized leadership. His smile sharpened. You can spend 5 years discussing tradition in a royal dungeon. One by one, Lydia's supporters lost their courage. They nodded. Only Lydia remained defiant. She spat near Kira's feet. This isn't finished. Kira looked at her. Yes. Her voice was quiet. It is. Lydia walked away. Commander Thorne waited until everyone disappeared. Then he cleared his throat. I believe the two of you require privacy. He left. Kira and Darian stood alone. You came back. Kira hated how vulnerable the words sounded. I said I would. Darian searched her face. Did you think I wouldn't? I didn't know. 3 weeks. Kira folded her arms. No message. Darian frowned. I sent 3. Kira stared. What? His expression changed. You received none? No. Then someone intercepted them. His jaw tightened. Someone inside Thornwood does not want us communicating. That's comforting. It concerns me. Everything concerns me right now. Kira turned away. I'm barely keeping this pack together. Hey. Darian stepped closer. His hands settled on her shoulders. You are doing better than barely surviving. Doesn't feel like it. Thorne has been sending reports. Kira glared over his shoulder. Traitor. Darian almost smiled. Crime is down, he continued. The finances are stabilizing. The Omegas are participating in leadership. Families are returning. Kira exhaled. You are succeeding. It feels like drowning. Leadership always feels like drowning. Darian's tone was dry. The skill is learning to swim while pretending everyone else should follow you into the water. Kira laughed before she could stop herself. That is terrible advice. It is honest advice. His hands slid slowly down her arms. The mood changed. I meant what I said before I left. Kira became still. About us. Darian, I know this is badly timed. He moved closer. I know both of us have responsibilities that make everything difficult. His silver eyes searched hers. But these 3 weeks. He paused. The East was chaos. Rebellion. Assassinations. Every day I wondered whether I'd make it back. His voice lowered. And the thought that kept me moving was knowing you were here. Kira's throat tightened. Building something better. That is a lot of responsibility to put on someone. I know. Darian nodded. And if you want me to step away, his voice became careful. If you want this to remain professional, I will respect that. But I had to tell you what Kira kissed him. No planning. No strategy. No careful analysis. She rose onto her toes and pressed her mouth to his. Darian froze for 1 heartbeat. Then his arms wrapped around her. He kissed her back. Everything Kira had restrained for years seemed to break loose at once. The kiss was fierce, tender, desperate. His hand moved into her hair. Her fingers gripped his shirt. For a few seconds, neither was king nor alpha, just 2 wolves who had spent too long pretending they needed no one. When they finally separated, both were breathing hard. Darian rested his forehead against hers. Well. His voice was rough. That answers the question. Kira's mouth curved. I'm tired of being careful. He looked at her. 7 years was enough. Her voice softened. I don't want to hide how I feel anymore. Then don't. Darian cupped her face. Not with me. Silver eyes held brown. Whatever this becomes, we face it directly. Together? Together. They stood in silence for several precious seconds. Then reality returned. I can stay only 3 days. Kira closed her eyes. Of course. Trouble in the Western Territory. Darian sounded frustrated. Rogue activity. Border violence. The kingdom needs you. Yes. He reached into his coat. But this time we don't rely on letters. He placed a small crystal in Kira's palm. Communication crystal. She examined it. Linked directly to one I carry. No messenger, no interception. Darian closed her fingers around it. You can reach me anywhere. Kira smiled. Thank you. Don't. His hand touched her cheek. Just keep doing what you're doing. What? Drowning? Leading. He smiled. And remember, Thornwood is no longer standing by itself. Kira raised an eyebrow. No pressure. None. They returned to Thornwood hand in hand. The council meeting went better with Darian present. Even the dissidents understood opposing Kira openly now meant challenging royal authority. During the next 3 days, Darian helped restructure Thornwood's leadership, new safeguards, financial oversight. Young guards trained to protect Kira, but they also stole moments. Walks through the forest, private conversations late at night, kisses that became harder to end as Darian's departure approached. On the 3rd morning, Kira stood beside his horse. I'll return in 2 weeks. Darian leaned down. Sooner if possible. Be careful. Always. He kissed her. Quick. Fierce. Public. Several Thornwood wolves noticed. Darian didn't care. You stay safe. His voice became serious. If anything happens, use the crystal. I will. He rode away. Kira watched until the guards vanished down the road. She was alone again, but not as she had been before. This time, silence did not feel like abandonment. This time, Kira had hope. Chapter 9. Shadows and Revelations. 2 weeks became 3. 3 became 4. The communication crystal remained dark. Kira told herself not to worry. Darian ruled 5 territories. Crises did not respect romantic promises. Still, during the quiet hours before dawn, Lydia's words returned. Maybe Darian had needed Kira only while Thornwood was useful. Maybe once he returned to the larger kingdom, she became small again. Forgettable. Kira buried herself in work. The dissidents had mostly quieted. Thornwood's finances improved. Crime remained low. Several families applied to join the pack because they had heard about the reforms. Every measurable sign suggested success. Yet Kira felt hollow. Alpha. Petra entered with reports. New census numbers. Kira looked up. We gained 3 families this month. That's excellent. Kira forced a smile. Thank you. Petra set down the papers, then stayed. What? You aren't sleeping. I have work. You're waiting. Kira's hand stopped. Petra's voice softened. For him. Kira sighed. Is it obvious? To anyone who cares about you. Petra crossed her arms. The pack is thriving. She studied Kira. But you look like part of you is somewhere else. I'm fine. That's a lie. Kira looked up. Petra smiled faintly. You taught us to stop pretending. Fair. What happened between you and the king? Kira considered hiding it, then remembered how tired she was of hiding. I fell in love with him. Petra's eyebrows rose. Kira looked toward the window. Somewhere between investigating murder and rebuilding Thornwood. She laughed softly. I fell for him. And you think he felt the same? I thought he did. Kira looked at the silent crystal on her desk. Now I don't know. Petra's expression softened. I think something is preventing him from contacting you. How can you know? I saw how he looked at you. Petra shrugged. A man does not look at someone like that and forget her 4 weeks later. A knock interrupted them. Commander Thorn entered. His expression made Kira's stomach drop. Alpha Kira, what happened? We received a messenger from the capital. She stood. The king? Thorn hesitated. He's been poisoned. Everything stopped. What? He's alive. Thorn moved quickly, but incapacitated. Kira gripped the desk. When? Approximately a week ago. Why am I hearing now? The council suppressed the information to prevent panic. Kira's anger flared. What poison? An assassin infiltrated part of his Western inspection force. Thorn's face hardened. The poison acts slowly. Is he dying? We don't know. The room tilted. I'm going to the capital. You can't. Kira stared at him. Watch me. Thornwood needs you. So does he. The capital is 3 days away at Hard Ride. Then I leave now. Alpha. He could be dead in 3 days. Her voice broke. The communication crystal suddenly glowed. Kira spun. Light pulsed from the drawer. She tore it open. The crystal projected a weak image. Darian. His face was pale. His silver eyes looked dull. Kira. His voice was hoarse. She almost stopped breathing. Darian. I'm sorry. The image flickered. I wanted to contact you earlier. What happened? I'm alive. A weak smile. Technically. Don't joke. The poison is Shadowbane. Thorn cursed quietly. Kira looked between them. What is that? Darian answered. A poison designed to weaken gifts. Kira froze. Gifts? Wolves like us. Gifted wolves. Yes. His image flickered. Someone knew exactly what I am. Darian breathed with visible effort. They knew my truth sense is part of what makes me dangerous politically. So they're trying to remove your gift, without turning me into a martyr through obvious assassination. Kira's hands tightened around the crystal. What do the healers say? I'll probably recover. Probably? Weeks. Darian grimaced. Possibly months. I'm coming. No. His answer was immediate. Darian. No, Kira. His tone softened. You stay in Thornwood. I don't care about Thornwood right now. I do. She stared. The territories are unstable. Darian continued. If everyone learns I cannot use my gift, rebellions will begin. Kira's jaw tightened. I need alphas I trust to keep their packs stable. I care about you. I know. The tenderness in his face hurt more. But you are alpha. Darian's voice became quiet. Your responsibilities do not disappear because we love each other. Kira closed her eyes. There it was. The price. Power meant duty. Duty did not pause for fear. How bad is it? She opened her eyes. Truth. Darian didn't answer immediately. Bad enough that maintaining this connection is difficult. Kira swallowed. My gift is gone. His silver eyes looked almost gray. I cannot identify lies. Darian. The Royal Council is already preparing for the possibility I won't recover. Stop. I need to be realistic. No. Kira. Do not tell me to prepare for you to die. Her voice shook. Do not give up. A faint smile. There's the fire. I'm serious. So am I. His expression became grave. You will need that fire. Why? The person who poisoned me is still active. Darian struggled for breath. And I don't believe I am the only target. Cold moved through Kira. What do you mean? You exposed corruption. His image flickered. You helped me remove powerful wolves. Darian. If someone is eliminating gifted leaders, you are vulnerable. Kira's hands became cold. You think they'll attack Thornwood. I think you should trust almost no one. His voice weakened. Increase security. Guard food. Water. Watch for weakness or loss of gift. The image began breaking apart. Darian? Kira. Darian. Be careful. The crystal went dark. No. Kira shook it. Darian. Nothing. Thorn moved beside her. Kira stared at the dead crystal. Someone poisoned the Alpha King. Her voice became steady. And now they may come here. We've already doubled the guards, Thorn said. Food and water access? Restricted. Visitors. Screened. Good. Thorn hesitated. There is something else. Kira looked up. The messenger brought a letter. He gave her a sealed document. Royal Council. Kira broke it. Every line made her colder. Because His Majesty remained incapacitated, the Royal Council was assuming temporary authority. Every alpha appointed during the previous 3 months would be reviewed. Kira's position would be examined at a formal council hearing in 2 weeks. She was ordered to appear and prove she could lead Thornwood without direct royal support. Failure meant removal. A replacement would be selected from an established bloodline. The signature: Lord Chancellor Gideon Blackwood, Regent Protector of the Realm. Kira lowered the letter. They're removing his appointments. Thorn nodded. The moment he becomes weak, they're undoing his reforms. Yes. Kira looked at the document. This is a coup. A legal one, if they succeed. Kira folded the letter. I'll go. Thorn frowned. To the hearing. That's exactly what Blackwood wants. Then I'll disappoint him. He will humiliate you publicly. Thorn stepped closer. They want to make you an example. Should I hide? No. Should I let them remove me? No. Then what? Thorn's expression became calculating. You build alliances. With whom? The other alphas Darian appointed. Kira listened. 7 in 6 months. Unconventional choices? Everyone. Gifted? Most. Traditional bloodlines? Not necessarily. Thorn nodded. 3 women. 4 men. Kira understood. Blackwood wants all of us gone. Yes. Then all of us appear together. Thorn smiled. Now you're thinking like a political leader. Kira ignored that. Send messages. Request a meeting on neutral ground. We coordinate before the hearing. Thorn nodded. As you command. When he left, Petra remained. What can I do? Keep Thornwood stable while I'm gone. Kira took Petra's hands. Watch everyone. Food. Water. If anyone shows unusual weakness, evacuate. Petra stared. You believe they might attack? I believe whoever did this has already tried to kill a king. Kira's voice hardened. They won't hesitate over us. And if something happens to you? Kira paused. You lead until help arrives. Petra's eyes widened. What? You've been learning. No. Yes. Kira, be prepared. She squeezed Petra's hands. That's all I'm asking. After everyone left, Kira sat alone. Darian was poisoned. The council was attacking the reforms. Unknown enemies were moving. Everything they had built seemed one push away from collapse. But Kira wasn't 12 anymore. She wasn't a frightened girl hiding behind silence. She was Alpha Kira Thornwood. And she intended to fight. Replies from the other newly appointed alphas came quickly. 5 agreed to meet. 1 never answered. The reason arrived later. Alpha Thomas had died 2 weeks earlier during what officials called a hunting accident. The final response came from Alpha Helena in the south. 3 words. Trust no one. Then, they are watching. The meeting was arranged at an ancient neutral gathering ground. Kira traveled with Thorn and a small guard. 2 days through forest and open territory. Every shadow felt dangerous. They reached the site near sunset. A circular clearing, ancient standing stones, symbols carved into rock from a language older than the crown. 4 alphas had already arrived. Alpha Cade of the Eastern Pack was only 25. His gift allowed him to see possible paths forward, to sense probabilities. Darian had appointed him after Cade exposed a conspiracy involving pack secrets sold to rogues. Alpha Sarah from the Mountain Pack was older, fierce. Her gift involved truth-speaking. She had uncovered evidence that the previous Alpha's mysterious death was murder. Alpha Finn of River Pack was broad and serious. He sensed danger before it arrived. His gift had saved his entire pack from a rogue assault secretly arranged by their former Alpha. Alpha Ren of Coastal Pack possessed an ability to read memories from objects. Ren had solved a murder that had divided the Coastal Pack for decades. Every one of them was gifted. Every one had exposed corruption. Every one represented everything the old political system feared. Kira stood within the circle. Thank you for coming. The alphas watched her. I assume all of you received summonses from the council. Nods. Then we know what they're doing. Kira looked around. The moment Darian became vulnerable, they began dismantling everything he changed. Sarah stepped forward. It's worse. Everyone turned. I investigated Shadowbane. Kira's attention sharpened. It isn't naturally occurring, Sarah continued. It was created deliberately, specifically for gifted wolves. Cade frowned. How long would preparation require? Years. Silence. The ingredients are rare. Sarah's expression darkened. Whoever made it has money, access, and patience. Finn asked, "What about Thomas?" Sarah looked at him. I examined the body. A pause. He had signs of Shadowbane exposure. Shock swept the group. So his hunting accident? Wasn't an accident. Finn swore. Ren crossed both arms. They're eliminating gifted alphas. One at a time, Cade said. But why? Kira knew. Because we see things. Everyone looked toward her. Lies. Intention. Memory. Danger. Possible futures. Kira's voice strengthened. Gifted leaders are difficult to manipulate. She looked around the circle. Remove us, and the old political families can operate through deception again. Cade exhaled. We cannot fight the entire council. We don't. Kira stepped into the center. We force them into the open. How? The hearing. She looked at each alpha. They expect isolated wolves arriving one at a time. Easy to intimidate. Easy to dismiss. Sarah slowly nodded. So we arrived together. All 5, Kira continued, with records from our packs, testimony, results, and we demand the hearing be public. Ren's eyes sharpened. To make removing us politically expensive. Exactly, Kira nodded. Darian built his reforms around transparency. We use transparency to protect them. Finn looked uncertain. If this fails, they're already trying to kill us. Kira cut in. If we fail, we lose positions they're already planning to take. The alphas looked at one another. Sarah nodded first. I'm with you. Cade followed. East stands with Thornwood. Finn sighed. River Pack too. Ren nodded. Coastal. Kira released a breath. Thank you. Then an arrow screamed through the clearing. It struck the stone beside Kira's head. Commander Thorn roared. Ambush. Figures emerged from the forest. Masked. Armed. At least 20. Professional. The assassins had found them. Chapter 10. The silent shadow roars. Arrows filled the clearing. Kira dove behind one of the standing stones. Steel crashed against steel as guards engaged the attackers. Snarls. Screams. Blood. They knew we would be here, Cade shouted. Someone had betrayed the meeting. There was no time to discover who. Kira opened her gift. 20 assassins. Spread deliberately around the clearing. Focused. Disciplined. And behind them, a familiar emotional signature. Cold. Bitter. Triumphant. No. Kira stared toward the trees. A figure stepped forward. Lydia. No mask. Crossbow in hand. Her smile was vicious. Surprise, sister. Kira felt fury replace shock. You? Did you think I would let you destroy everything my family built? Your family built graves, Kira shouted. How many more wolves are you willing to kill? As many as necessary. Lydia lifted the crossbow. You took my father. He murdered my mother. You imprisoned my mother. She tried to murder the king. You stole my future. Lydia's finger tightened. Now I take yours. The bolt fired. Commander Thorn moved. He threw himself between Kira and the weapon. The bolt struck his shoulder. Thorn spun and fell. No. Kira dropped beside him. Blood poured around the shaft. Thorn. Go. His face had gone pale. Crystal. Kira remembered. The communication crystal. She pulled it from her pocket. A crack ran across its surface. Damaged. She closed both hands around it anyway. Darian. Please. Every thought focused into the crystal. Darian, if you can hear me. Light flickered. No image. Only a distant presence. Kira, his voice barely existed. Darian. What happened? Ambush. Kira looked around the clearing. The new alphas. They're trying to kill all of us. Where? The old northern gathering grounds. Kira swallowed. There are too many. Darian's voice strengthened. Hold on. No. Kira stared at the crystal. You can barely stand. I'm coming. You can't. I said. Power entered his voice. I'm coming. The connection ended. An assassin attacked Kira. She rolled away. The blade missed. Kira came up and drove her fist into his jaw. He collapsed. 3 others moved toward her. Sarah intercepted them. Her weapon flashed. Get up! Kira rose. We are not dying here. The gifted alphas began fighting together. Finn sensed attacks seconds before they happened. Left. A guard ducked. Behind you. Cade shouted directions, seeing possible paths through the battle. Ren touched fallen weapons and identified poisoned blades. Kira opened herself further. Emotion flooded her. Fear. Loyalty. Orders. Doubt. She had always sensed. Never pushed. Now instinct told her to try. Kira reached toward an assassin's hesitation. Amplified it. Why are you doing this? The man slowed. She touched another. Who are you killing for? His sword lowered. A third stopped mid-attack. Confusion spread. Lydia saw. Don't listen, she shouted. She's manipulating you. But doubt was already spreading. One assassin lowered his weapon. Another backed away. A third ran into the forest. You're losing, Kira called. Your people don't believe in you. Lydia's face twisted. Surrender. Thera stepped forward. I'll show mercy. Mercy. Lydia laughed wildly. Like you showed my parents? She lifted the crossbow, but this time she aimed at Thorn. Kira froze. Drop your gift. Lydia's finger tightened. Or I kill him. Thorn already bled heavily. Another bolt would finish him. Kira released her influence. The assassins shook off their confusion. Weapons rose again. Lydia smiled. Good girl. She gestured toward the other alphas. Kneel. Kira's stomach dropped. Or I execute every wounded wolf first. Sarah looked toward Kira. Finn lowered his weapon. Slowly, the alphas knelt. Despair flooded the clearing. They had come so close. Then a howl split the night. Every head turned. Another answered. Then another. Dozens. Hundreds. The forest erupted. Royal guards flooded into the clearing. Warriors from multiple territories. Silver armor flashed between the trees. And at the front, Darian. Mounted on a massive black horse. Kira's breath stopped. He looked terrible. Pale. Weak. Barely balanced in the saddle. But his silver eyes burned. His voice hit the clearing like thunder. Stand down. By order of your king. The assassins froze. Even Lydia's crossbow lowered slightly. You're supposed to be dying. Darian dismounted. His knees nearly buckled. He forced himself upright. I was. His gaze found Kira. Then he said words that silenced the entire clearing. Then I heard my mate was in danger. Kira stopped breathing. Mate. Darian had said it publicly. Before alphas. Royal soldiers. Dozens of witnesses. The game is over, Lydia. Darian faced her. Your assassins are surrounded. Your conspiracy is exposed. And you attempted to murder 5 alphas under royal protection. His mouth curved coldly. Your family is becoming remarkably consistent at losing. Lydia screamed. Then I'll take her with me. She fired. Kira saw the bolt. Straight toward her heart. Too fast. No time. Darian moved. Poisoned. Weak. Somehow he reached her. He stepped between Kira and the bolt. It struck his chest. Darian fell. No. Kira's scream tore across the clearing. She dropped beside him. Blood poured around the shaft. Too much. Darian. Her hands pressed against the wound. No. His eyes struggled to focus. You can't. Kira's voice broke. You promised. His hand lifted weakly, touched her face. It's okay. No. She cried openly. It is not okay. You're dying because of me. Darian's mouth moved into the faintest smile. Worth it. Stop. To keep you safe. His eyes began closing. Worth everything. Royal soldiers captured the remaining assassins. Healers shouted. None of it mattered. Kira saw only Darian. Stay with me. She pressed harder against the blood. Please. His breathing weakened. I can't do this without you. Yes. Darian struggled. You can. No. You're the strongest wolf. His voice faded. You'll lead. His hand fell. Darian's eyes closed. And the connection Kira had only begun to understand suddenly vanished. Dark. Empty. Kira broke. A howl tore from her throat. Grief. Rage. Loss. 7 years of silence transformed into one sound that seemed capable of splitting the night. Then, something happened. Kira's gift exploded outward. Every emotional connection in the clearing struck her at once. Shock, fear, grief, and underneath everything, a spark. Kira froze. Darian, still there, tiny, weak, but alive. No. She pressed both hands against his chest. I'm not letting you go. Kira reached deeper, past emotions, past thoughts, into the bond connecting every wolf around her. Something ancient opened. She felt life. Not metaphorically. Actually felt it. Hundreds of tiny flames. Kira reached. Not stealing. Asking. Borrowing. Strength flowed toward her. Royal guards. Alphas. Wounded wolves. Even frightened prisoners. Energy passed through the bond. Into Kira. Through Kira. Into Darian. Light appeared beneath her hands. Gold. Silver. Someone whispered, "What is she doing?" Sarah stared. Old magic. The glow grew. The kind we thought was gone. Kira burned. Her gift expanded beyond anything she understood. She had believed she could sense emotion. This was more. Life itself responded. The crossbow bolt began glowing, then crumbled. Ash drifted away. The wound closed. Blood stopped. Dark veins caused by Shadowbane faded beneath Darian's skin. Kira poured everything into him. Strength, gift, will, live. Her voice became a command. You will live. I am not finished with you. Darian's eyes opened. Silver, bright, alive. He gasped. His hand covered hers. Kira. She nearly collapsed. What? Darian looked down at his healed chest. What did you do? Kira gave a weak laugh. Saved you. The light faded. She fell sideways. Darian caught her. Everyone stared. Sarah smiled faintly. Your mate is full of surprises, Your Majesty. Darian looked at Kira. My mate. His fingers tightened around hers. Yes. Kira looked exhausted. Thank me by not getting shot again. Commander Thorne, now surrounded by healers, laughed weakly. I believe everyone here just learned not to threaten the wolf who can drag a king back from death. The prisoners were bound. Lydia knelt in chains. Hatred filled her face. Darian slowly stood. His strength seemed to return with every breath. It ends here. He looked over the captured assassins. The killings. The attempts to destroy reform. The conspiracies. All of it. He turned toward the 5 alphas. You have proven your leadership beyond any reasonable challenge. Darian's voice carried. Your appointments stand. And anyone who questions them answers to me. One alpha asked. What about the Royal Council? Darian's face became dangerous. Lord Chancellor Blackwood will be arrested when we reach the capital. Kira stared. You know, I spent my recovery investigating. Darian's smile was sharp. Blackwood arranged the Shadowbane. He organized the attacks against gifted alphas. He assumed poisoning me made me helpless. Darian's eyes gleamed. He was wrong. He stood fully. Still weak. Still pale. But king again. There will be no review hearing. The reforms remain. The new alphas remain. And anyone opposed may challenge me personally. Darian looked across hundreds of wolves. Any volunteers? Silence. No one moved. Excellent. Darian took Kira's hand. Then let's go home. 3 months later, representatives from every territory gathered at the capital. The great square overflowed with wolves. Kira stood before them wearing formal silver and black robes. The previous 3 months had changed everything. The surviving conspirators had faced trial. The assassination network had been dismantled. Lydia had been exiled to the outer territories where she held no authority. The Royal Council had been restructured to prevent another attempt at seizing power, and Kira had spent those months beside Darian, not only as Alpha of Thornwood, as his mate, his partner, his equal in rebuilding the kingdom. A high priestess stood before her. Kira Thornwood. Kira raised her head. Do you swear to uphold the laws of the 5 territories? I do. To judge fairly? I do. To protect the innocent? I do. To punish corruption regardless of rank? Kira looked toward Darian. I do. The priestess lifted a silver circlet. Then, under ancient law and sacred tradition, the crown settled onto Kira's head. I proclaim you Alpha Queen of the 5 territories. The crowd erupted. Darian approached. How does it feel? Kira breathed. Terrifying. He smiled. Surreal? Extremely. Good. Darian offered his hand. I have something to show you. He guided her toward the edge of the platform. Kira looked down. Petra stood in the front, now Beta of Thornwood. Beside her stood the Omegas who had supported Kira before anyone else did. Commander Thorn stood fully recovered. Cade, Sarah, Finn, Ren, wolves from Thornwood, wolves from other packs. Her family, not by blood, by choice. They all came for you, Darian said. Kira's throat tightened. They wanted the kingdom to see something. What? That you did not rise because I favored you. He looked at her. You rose because wolves believe in you. Kira blinked back tears. I don't deserve all this. You do. Darian turned her toward him. 7 years ago they took your voice. Kira shook her head. I gave it up. To survive. His silver eyes softened. But you never lost yourself. Darian smiled. And now the entire kingdom is going to hear you. Kira laughed. That is painfully dramatic. It is also true. He looked into her eyes. I love you, Kira Thornwood. Her breath caught despite everything they had shared. Silent shadow. Alpha. Queen. The wolf who saved my life. His voice softened. And helped save my kingdom. Kira smiled. I love you too. She touched his face. Even when you are unbearably dramatic. Darian kissed her before the entire kingdom. The crowd roared. When they separated, Darian looked toward the gathered wolves. Shall we address our people, my queen? Kira took his hand. Together. Always. They faced a kingdom still healing from corruption. Kira thought of Elena, her mother. Every gifted wolf murdered because powerful leaders were frightened of difference. This was for them. She stepped forward. Wolves of the 5 territories. Her voice carried through the square. For too long, power in our lands belonged to wolves who confused fear with respect. The crowd became silent. For too long, Gifted wolves were hunted simply for being different. She lifted her head. For too long, strength was confused with tyranny. Kira paused. That ends now. Cheers began. The old ways that demanded silence, submission, and fear are finished. Her voice strengthened. We will build something better. A kingdom where gifts are protected rather than hunted. Where leadership is earned through honor and action, not merely birth. Where every wolf has a voice. Kira looked across the crowd. From the highest alpha, she remembered the kitchens, to the lowest omega. Howls erupted. Kira waited. Change will not be easy. The crowd quieted again. There will always be wolves who prefer the old system because corruption made them powerful. Kira squeezed Darian's hand. But we will face them together. We will protect one another. And we will build a future worthy of those who were silenced before us. Her eyes lifted. The ones who were silenced. Then her voice became fierce, but never broken. Darian looked at her with pride. Kira smiled. The silent shadow found her roar. And she will never be silent again. The square exploded with howls. Thousands. Kira felt the crown on her head. Darian's hand around hers. The strength of her people surrounding them. 7 years hidden. 7 years surviving. 7 years without a voice. Now that voice could shake a kingdom. Epilogue. 1 year later, moonlight filled the royal nursery. Silver and gold decorated the walls. 2 infants slept inside a crib. Twins. A boy. A girl. Both had Darian's silver eyes. And according to the healers, both already showed signs of powerful gifts. Kira stood beside them. One hand rested over her stomach. Another life was growing there. Actually, 3. The healers had confirmed triplets. All gifted. You should be sleeping. Darian's voice came from the doorway. Kira turned. So should you. He smiled. We're both terrible at following instructions. He joined her beside the crib and wrapped an arm around her waist. Our children are going to destroy this palace. Kira leaned against him. Gifted. Stubborn. Raised by 2 wolves who overturned half the political system. Darian sighed happily. I can't wait. Kira laughed. I'm slightly terrified of what 5 gifted children will do. They'll tear everything apart. Darian kissed her temple. Then rebuild it better. Like their mother. Kira looked at him. Flattery won't save you from the night feedings. Worth trying. They watched the twins sleep. Darian asked, How is Thornwood? Thriving. Kira smiled. Petra sent the latest reports. Crime? Still low. Finances? Strong. Applications? 6 more families want to transfer. Darian raised an eyebrow. Even several traditionalists have accepted the reforms. Imagine that. Kira grinned. Apparently results matter more than bloodline. Darian's expression turned dramatically thoughtful. Who could have predicted treating wolves with dignity would work better than terrorizing them? Certainly not Blackwood. Darian snorted.